these girls all like gremlins. Feel empty, like pip, feel empty. But I will go anywhere God sends me. Rose water in my face, I'm an angel. 10K on my arms and my labels. I can't look back at a stranger. I cannot love and I'm faithful. I don't recognize your face, but you recognize my name. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. I don't recognize your face, but you recognize my name. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. My heart is like the highway. Lamborghini 14 on the driveway. Die if you violate. See me smoking love, finna leave this earth. I'm in a new dimension like a rebirth. Getting to this money to see what it's worth. See me smoking loud, finna leave this earth. 2K, 3K, never seen light of the day for 4K, 5K, just spent a fortune on eBay. Lean day, can't see straight, can't remember shit from yesterday. Standing over a cliff of a waterway, your bitch got my shit on replay. See my face on display, all this shit sounds cliche. See my face on display, don't look at me like no way. I get high and fly away, hanging out the window from a Chevrolet. Reality is still far away, still far away, still far away. I don't recognize your face, but you recognize my name. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. I don't recognize your face, but you recognize my name. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. My heart is like the highway. Lamborghini 14 on the driveway. Die if you violate. Recognize your face, but you recognize my name. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. My heart is like the highway. Lamborghini 14 on the driveway. Die if you violate. Recognize your face, but you recognize my name. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain. 10K in the flames, give me blood rain.
Check. Good morning. This is weird. This is fucking weird. Let's see. Let me turn it up a little bit because I'm not going to be talking as loud as normal. Let's see. What's up, guys? Look, we got a jar juice. We got an OG jar juice right here. Oh my god, I can't even open it. Jesus Christ. Hell yeah. What's up, guys? Good morning. This one. I just woke up. We are going to go over the keffals video. The Muta keffals video. This video is pretty good. I have seen bits and pieces of it. But, yeah. I followed the keffals thing pretty closely. I was surprised that, like, so many people don't actually know all of this stuff about keffals. There's actually, like, a lot of people, even in, like, the commentary community, who don't know everything about keffals. I think Muta does bring up a little bit of new information, but, yeah. I'm excited to watch this. Oh, I gotta let my dog into the room. Hold on. All right, let's fucking go. Oh shit, hold on. Why is this? There we go. Okay. Gotta put on streamer mode. We're watching 1080p. We're getting the maximum viewing experience.
Anyone ever finds out about how I spent the
Wait, we could even go premium mode.
I am definitely getting canceled.
Okay, so this was like the biggest bombshell of this video. This was something that I hadn't seen before. Keffals saying, if anyone ever finds out how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled. Anyway, sorry for venting. I'm gonna go now. I'm still heading to Dingle. What the fuck is that? keep trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things: replacing furniture, helping my friends out, and buying new streaming gear.
No one ever finds out about how I spent the
So in this, she's literally admitting that the money from the GoFundMe got spent, and there's none left.
GoFundMe. I am definitely getting canceled. Hello guys and gals, me Muta, and today's video is one that required quite a fair bit of research, and it's one that I should have released a few weeks ago. It's a video that might be one of my most controversial videos, but one that required...
Dude, he should have kept his long hair. He looks so good with long hair. I think I said that last time we saw Muta on stream. Oh, one other thing is this video. The thumbnail. So this art was done by Just a Worm, and if you guys watch commentary videos, you probably know who this person is. He's like a Twitter artist, but he deleted his Twitter, presumably because people were mad at him for drawing keffals and calling him transphobic and stuff. And then people looked up like the Kiwi Farms account, Just a Worm, and there was someone named Just a Worm who posted on Kiwi Farms like edgy stuff. So they were all like basically trying to cancel this guy with that. And then he seemingly deactivated his account. So I don't know if he just like caved to like the pressure, like he couldn't handle that many people like talking shit about him, or trying to get under his skin. But yeah, this is like the exact response that these people want when they are just like sitting there like critiquing you and calling you racist and trying to get you to take an action like this, like deleting your account. So this guy, like, he would be totally fine if he just ignored these people. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully he comes back, because this guy's cool. I like his Twitter feed. I like his art. I like seeing his art in videos. I like, you know. Anyways, that's a little aside.
Looking back
At least Keffals didn't spend the money on Lego sets and leaving animals miserable. Dude, that's true.
years upon years of internet history to come to an actual conclusion of one of the most dangerous people on the web, an international transgender activist that some of you all may know as Keffals. Now, Keffals is not necessarily a popular activist. They're an online transgender activist.
Dude, I feel like we need my little character. Hold on. We gotta grab this little character. I feel like we need this little buddy on screen right here. Our little Keffals logo.
Known for fighting against the controversial website Kiwi Farms. Her campaign saw mainstream attention after a highly publicized swatting, where she alleged mistreatment by the Canadian Police Services. The online harassment escalated until she was forced to flee her home country to escape. With the media and an entire community backing her, she raised over $100,000 on GoFundMe to recoup her losses and pursue legal action.
Okay, keep that in mind. That was basically, we looked at this on stream a little while ago, and at that point I didn't have like a ton of like knowledge about what she was actually spending it on or anything. We had no idea. But at that time, the way that the GoFundMe was like phrased was like, yeah, I'm going to use this for moving, for recouping my losses, and for like, so it wasn't just for a legal fund, as many people assumed. So, but yeah, now we know that it did not go to that stuff.
Against law enforcement. This is the story the public heard all the way up in 2022. Turns out her entire career and almost everything she said is a lie. Join me as I take you down a journey that involves SWAT teams,
Kiwi Farms was right, dude. When was Kiwi Farms ever wrong?
Gendering, do-it-yourself hormones, cat boys, and a scam many have tried to expose, yet for some reason almost no one is talking about. Before we get into the real meat and potatoes, I should probably explain a bit more about who Keffals is.
Oh, I found out Keffals also at certain points has been like, yeah, you can use they, them pronouns for me. So I feel like they is like the perfect middle ground. I don't have to make any sort of political statement one way or the other. So I will try to remember to refer to Keffals as they.
Her name is Clara Sorrenti, first rose to prominence in a...
I don't know if that's more or less gay than just like saying she or he. I don't know.
Community of another left-wing political streamer named Vosh, garnering a following by posting memes on Twitter. With this notoriety, she began streaming video games on Twitch in March of 2020. Her focus shifted to politics later that year after a wave of anti-trans legislation swept through the United States. She went on to raise $200,000 for a campaign for Southern equality to protect trans youth. By the end of the year, her Twitter surpassed 10,000 followers, and while most were on board with the activist, others grew very critical of how she used her platform. Clara regularly directed her chat to brigade targets by ratioing them. Ratioing, for anybody who's not terminally online, is when you try to get more likes than the original post in a quote tweet or a reply. This amounted to coordinating with her chat on stream, and even if you blocked her...
Dude, keffals loved the ratio thing. That was crazy. That was like one of the first things that Kiwi Farms noticed, right? Like they were like, this person like loves just ratioing people. It was like an obsession. Like keffals tried to do it to literally every fucking comment, every thread ever.
She would just use alternate accounts to achieve this goal. It was through this that she got into her first real internet beef in early 2022. On March 22, 2022, Clara had a spat with online notorious agitator Ian Miles Chong. Their back and forth continued for hours as she commanded her viewers to ratio him. Then at around 4:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, her chat was brigaded with hateful messages. Despite the timing, one of her mods would end up blaming someone else, another streamer named Destiny. Destiny is a kind of progenitor of the entire online leftist streaming space. His stream is where both Vosh and Hassan Piker got their start. These people used to be friends, and nowadays, not so much. And that is reflected in their communities. The only evidence implicating Destiny was a quote tweet where he called
Why does he have a shirt that says pork bun? She passes extremely well. Yeah, I'll say that like keffals is not like a super like attractive person in general, but in terms of like trans women, she's one of the less let's just say devastating looking ones.
Cringe. Ooh, the shock. It was posted 2 hours after the rape. Despite this, Clara and her community insisted it was his fault. Once again, there was no evidence he had any involvement, yet she used it as justification to deplatform him. Her first response was to try to get his Twitter mass reported and banned. She set her sights on his Twitch channel, launching what can only be described as a full-fledged character assassination. There are countless examples of her legitimate slander and flat-out lies about Destiny. He detailed the worst of her behavior in an extensive document he published.
Dude, this document is so good. This document was so, and just the video in general was so helpful because up to this point, it feels like the only people who really knew that keffals was malicious were Kiwi Farms. And as much as I like Kiwi Farms, it's hard to convince a lot of like normies, let's just say like normies, that they're right about something because they have just like a reputation, even though the reputation is like often just fake journalist bullshit. They are pretty like looked down upon, let's just say that. So when someone like Destiny like looks at something like this objectively and is able to make it more palatable for like normies, it is very helpful. I think after this point was when the tide started to turn really for keffals. Honestly, they were turning like leading up to this too, but yeah, I don't know.
2022. And I'm only going to touch on a few examples because this video is going to be as long as it is. The first thing to point out is she was successful in depriving him of one of his main sources of income. She painted Destiny as transphobic for not supporting trans women competing in sports with
Destiny is still banned from Twitch to this day. Still.
Women. Even if you disagree with this, that doesn't necessarily make Destiny transphobic. It's a fringe pressure point of a much larger, broader issue. It's a highly specific, contentious issue and an unfair characterization of his broader catalog.
Yeah, and if you know Destiny, dude, if you know the weirdest part about this is like Destiny is like one of the like has been historically like one of the biggest like pro-trans like advocates. And probably has done a lot for just like politics on Twitch and on the internet in general. He has done a lot to promote that sort of stuff. So to like sit there and be like he's transphobic for like this one position not being like the most radical progressive position, that just makes him a transphobe. It was just like extremely like, I don't know, dude. How do people buy that? How do people buy into that? That's crazy.
Regardless, her labeling garnered enough support to get Destiny banned off of Twitch within 24 hours for hate speech. She immediately took credit.
And this is Keffals' thing, is just like mass reporting. Like Keffals will talk about, oh, this person is bad. This person is bad, and then basically like mobilize like her audience of self-righteous. I don't even know, teenagers, and like weird internet people to mass report and flag anyone that is in her like crosshairs. Like this was like a core issue. This was like the core issue with Keffals over and over again. Just trying to ban people and trying to get clout through getting people banned and getting things taken down off the internet.
Credit gloating about taking away his primary source of income. Hey Steve, I just took away your primary source of income. Please leave me alone and stop bullying trans people for content. He picked a fight with me, he got banned, I won. This behavior was not only encouraged, but rewarded with 30,000
Also, was there actually like a fight between them, or is this just Keffals being like schizophrenic? Like, did Destiny say like, can you fuck off, like, and stop like mass reporting my shit? Is that like the extent of it? I feel like I don't remember Destiny even like doing anything at all to Keffals except for posting the Kiwi Farms thread in his chat. And that was like the only thing, because he was like, no, I'm not, people from my community are not harassing her. This is the thread. She has a huge thread on Kiwi Farms. Check it out here. But he wasn't like promoting it or like directing his community to go to it or something. That was like the one like slight that Keffals has argued against Destiny.
Followers that week. An important thing to remember is that if you're banned off Twitch, you cannot appear on the site at all. For the longest time, you couldn't even show his face on screen without getting in trouble. Now that he couldn't defend himself, she spread even more blatant falsehoods. The same day, she baselessly accused Destiny of stealthing, which is secretly removing a condom during sex without the partner's consent.
Why is sex censored at 5 minutes? Wait.
This is generally
Sex.
considered a form of you-know-what, which Clara brings up.
Wait, do you have to censor the word rape on screen and sex? What? Either lies about putting... Why did he censor condom here? What? Is this just like being extra careful?
In her accusation.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of...
Dude, Keffals had no idea that anything that they said was going to have consequences. Like literally just like high on like clout.
Insane.
It was actually insane to see everything crumble down for her.
Insane shit.
To this day, there has never been any evidence or even an allegation made towards Destiny about this. She walked it back shortly after, which shows just how callous she is towards claims of such a serious nature. But because
But it strikes me as extra careful. Yeah, probably.
he was deplatformed, she was able to further a false narrative to her chat as well as tens of thousands of people on Twitter. They all either assumed she was being honest or didn't care she was slandering him because they had already disliked Destiny. In retrospect, her behavior paints a clear picture of how she would conduct herself in the future. It wasn't long into this drama that Keffals got noticed by the site Kiwi Farms, who started a thread about her on March 26, 2022. Clara quickly tried to guilt Destiny by association, claiming he used the forum and was even friends with the owner. And what was the reason?
Oh my god, that was so funny. I'm friends. Yeah, I used to play StarCraft 2 with Noel. Me and him go way back. And then Keffals just takes it like super seriously. Like Destiny's literally friends with Noel.
Well, because apparently he has an account is because he was a target on the site since 2017 with his own board. All his posts are arguing with trolls in his own thread. He was also never friends with Null, who is the owner of Kiwi Farms. He has also gone on record to wish him death several times. Null, by the way, wishing death on Destiny.
And this is while he's out, I guess, around with It's just like he's super gross.
What is this picture? Oh my god.
And sometimes he
This is a really awesome picture.
says things which are funny or agreeable, and it's like, I wish I could like you, bro, but you're creepy and gross and weird, and your brain's all up, and your shit's all and you talk like a so we can't be friends. And I kind of think the world would be better off if with you.
Clara knew this, but intentionally spread a lie that they met 10 years ago on the game StarCraft. When confronted, she admitted, I know, I wanted him to respond to the accusation, it was bait. At this point, I should probably take
It was bait. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is the thing. You're like making these like claims as if they're like serious though. Like you're unironically saying like they're friends. Noel and Destiny are friends. He's even talked about it. He's even said, there's no like there's no bait. There's no accusation. You stated it as like a fact, dude.
some time
In order, it wasn't, and it also wasn't just bait. It was to make your audience angry at Destiny. It was literally to like make her audience hate Destiny more and make them think that he's like a terrible person.
to explain exactly what Kiwi Farms is. Kiwi Farms is an online website dedicated to discussing internet figures. Okay, you probably heard about internet lolcows, people like Chris Chan, Boogie2988, or Daniel Larson, who has his own legal problems of late. The website's composed of various threads where users effectively congregate to document and follow individuals with a negative lens, okay? Now, we have to acknowledge that Kiwi Farms does allow doxing, okay? On the site, it's permitted to post the personal information of anybody being discussed, including full names, phone numbers, home addresses, hell, even blood type if you can find it, and most other forms of personally identifiable information.
I've seen social security numbers on the farms, which is crazy. That's like insane.
Also a site where anything goes, okay? It's like the Wild West of the internet. You ever try to look up me on some of these threads? You'll probably find Indian and poo in the loo and crazy stuff all day, every day. Kiwi Farms was made back in 2013 by Joshua.
That's why it's fun, dude. It's just it's unfiltered, it's uncensored internet.
Connor Moon, also online known as Null. The original purpose of the site was to document internet figure Chris Chan. After they covered Chris Chan initially, it started to change itself and rebrand into a general purpose online gossip wiki, so to speak, where they started to cover various individuals like Darkside Phil, Boogie, Wings of Redemption, who all actually have threads. And the site does have a propensity to make threads about transgender individuals. Anti-trans sentiment is banned on a lot of major platforms.
Yeah, because you know why they have a propensity to make threads about trans individuals? It's because trans people on the internet act fucking insane very often. There's a maybe not a causation, but a correlation for sure. Like it's undeniable. Everyone knows it's true.
And as a result, the site has become a place for those opinions to effectively congregate. Now, again, I want to start off by saying I don't endorse or support that behavior. In fact, I outright condemn it, all right? There's no reason to have any form of hate on the internet. That being said, all right, whatever goes on the site does fall under free speech and is entirely legal, okay? It's somewhat of a misnomer online that apparently doxing somebody is against the law. It is against...
Thank you. Thank you for saying this, dude. Everyone is so weird about doxing. Everyone thinks that doxing is like against the law, which is absolutely not. If it was against the law, it wouldn't be on Kiwi Farms. People are always like, why is that site allowed to exist when it's breaking the law? It's like, it's not. It's operating within... Like, everyone thinks like, oh, doxing is bad. It's really bad, so it must be illegal. But it's not. But it's always just like publicly available information. And there's nothing illegal about posting someone's full name next to their, online persona, next to their address, next to their phone number, maybe even next to their social security number. I mean, SSNs must be allowed, right?
It's the law to hack someone's accounts and breach their privacy to obtain their personal information, but that behavior is not encouraged by the site, and of course that behavior is punishable by law. But technically, it is not against the law to post someone's address against their will. As shitty as that sounds, most controversial internet figures have threads on this site, where they not only document their personal information, but they collect any piece of content, tweets, and documents that they post online. So early on, Clara blamed the thread...
Oh my God, my dog's barking. Hold on.
Fred's creation on Destiny, saying he was the reason they
Wait, I'm literally wearing the Jar Juice hoodie right now. I'm literally wearing the Wiggler hoodie. That's crazy.
found out about her. Later, she admitted it was her constant instigating that actually caught their attention.
How did the Kiwi Farm stuff even start? They noticed me because I started doing Twitter ratios. And they went from getting mad about Twitter ratios to digging up every single thing in the last 28 years of my life, looking for more reasons to be mad at me.
Wait, Keffals
Again.
is like... Wait, that means Keffals is like 30 now. Wait, is that real? Is that actually real? Holy shit.
Hypocrisy and misstatements are going to be
30.
rife in
30 years old.
this video.
The clock's ticking.
After Destiny got banned from Twitch, the owner of Kiwi Farms discussed their feud on their podcast. The episode was streamed live on March 25th. Clara reacted on Twitter, calling him the final boss of transphobes, and proclaiming she wouldn't back down.
He's trying to coordinate a dox on me. Now the final boss of transphobes is trying to coordinate a dox on me. This has never fucking happened. Kiwi Farms has a policy of like, don't touch the shit. You're supposed to, basically people will post like their fucking address or whatever, but nobody is, anytime you try to say like, hey, let's send a pizza, that would be so funny. Oh, let's do this. You get fucking banned because you're not allowed to mess with people. All of the information is only there for like documentation purposes.
I have done nothing wrong, nor will I be going anywhere. Her thread was created the next day, racking up page after
Oh my god, this was so fucking funny. I just found out that the person who runs a website notorious for doxing and harassing trans people covered me on his podcast today. So this is just like, you know that you're stepping into a minefield, Keffals. You're obviously doing this to start, to instigate, as Muta says.
Anywhere. Her thread was created the next day, racking up page after page scrutinizing her early life and online history. That included rumors of embezzling funds from her local community.
Wait, Keffals got super doxxed in the process of deleting everything, with the cake being that she got ousted from her Communist Party chapter for embezzling funds to fund her opiate habit. Even if this ridiculous lie is true, how does it sound anything less than base as fuck to steal money from a Communist Party to buy drugs? Let me play devil. Honestly, that's kind of true. Honestly, it would be kind of based. Let me play devil's advocate and say malicious characters, not necessarily farmers, can still use that info. Yeah, no, totally. It's the thing is, like, because they're allowed to post that, there are people who like might not even necessarily be like Kiwi farmers. They might be people from way more malicious like groups, are obviously using the doxing info to do shit like that. And yeah, so it is still being used. It is still being used for malicious things, but the Kiwi Farms is not like some like, the point is like Kiwi Farms is not some sort of organized group that's like trying to harass people, as these people always say. Kiwi Farms is just there to document everything.
Communist Party chapter for opiates and a supposed Discord server called the Catboy Ranch. It was posted alongside her and her family's personal information, which understandably made her very upset. Clara spoke out about this, which led many people who'd been similarly targeted to join her in solidarity. This began what eventually became #DropKiwiFarms. #DropKiwiFarms was a movement to get the site taken off the internet. They specifically went after service providers like Cloudflare, who provided DDoS protection and mitigation.
It was just Cloudflare. It was Kiwi Farms was just Cloudflare originally, and then once Cloudflare dropped, the Kiwi Farms thing got like stolen by fucking what's that guy's name? Sincere and Liz Fong Jones, and they basically have been harassing Kiwi Farms ever since with mass reporting. Liz Fong Jones uses her email from like Google, from when she worked at Google, to email these companies and be like, with like this authority of being like, I work at Google and like this website needs to go down, and it works a lot of the time.
Services. They argued Kiwi Farms was a stalking and harassment site that bullied people into taking their own lives. However, this largely picked up after her story received widespread mainstream coverage. For a while, her focus stayed on trying to bludgeon Destiny with their reputation. On July 18th, Keffals announced a tell-all about Destiny's association with the site. This backfired because her thumbnail used a picture of Destiny's face, violating Twitch's policy on banned streamers. Her channel got banned before she could even start, forcing her to stream on YouTube instead. The attention only incentivized Kiwi Farms to keep prodding, and a week later she fell victim to an attempted swatting. The incident has made public on the 9th of August in a video titled, "My Life is
This video is so funny. My life is in danger. I need your
in
help.
danger, I need your help." Clara explained that 4 days earlier, on August 5th, she woke up to police services pointing an assault rifle at her face.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault rifle in my face.
A letter had been emailed to every city council member in London, Ontario, threatening a mass. Clara was arrested, booked, and held in custody for 11 hours. They searched her apartment and confiscated.
Dude, the email that they sent. Okay, I obviously don't condone this shit. It's really fucked up. Despite even to like the worst person in the world, like doing this to anyone is horrible, especially like even keffals. As much as we dislike keffals, but the email that they sent. That being said, the email that they sent to the city council was so funny. It was like, I'm tired of all these like straight white males like. I am going to go to City Hall and blank, 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 blank. You know, you get the rest. It was just really funny.
Several devices. They allegedly misgendered her and even booked her under her dead name. If you're unaware, dead naming refers to using a prior name for a trans person generally associated with the gender they were assigned at birth. This worsened an already traumatic experience she considered a hate crime. The video was posted alongside a GoFundMe with the stated intent of helping Clara recoup her losses, move immediately, and build a legal fund to protect her rights. It received widespread media attention, bringing in over $100,000 in donations. Even with their support, however, it seemed like there was no escape. Trolls kept figuring out her location as she was forced into hiding, and her battle
Kept figuring out, more like keffals kept revealing her location over and over. Intentionally.
against Kiwi Farms continued. Even after fleeing the continent, eventually she was successful in
She kept like baiting them to dox her location over and over again.
getting the site dropped by Cloudflare, who cited an imminent threat to human life. Without their protection, Kiwi Farms became vulnerable to illegal denial of service attacks and was forced to shut down. Now this is the story that the public was led to
And
believe.
that was absurd. The fact that they removed the site, they removed the site over a single post, which was either a hacked account or a brand new account. This message was threatening. This message was threatening violence. This was posted. The moderator removed it less than 5 minutes later, and then keffals had screenshotted it from the time it was posted to the time it was removed and sent it to Cloudflare. So it really begs the question, you know, who would was keffals just sitting there refreshing the thread over and over, just all day long, all night long, waiting for a violent comment to come up? Or, you know, is there another explanation for that? Maybe someone on keffals' side might have, you know, put that message out there as like a fucking, like a bait to get the site taken down. It's pretty crazy, especially because it was moderated, that they still decided to pull Kiwi Farms off the services. I think the public pressure was just too much for Cloudflare. But I think Muta talks about this in a minute. Their decision to pull Kiwi Farms was actually like really bad for their business.
Concluding a successful campaign, Keffals reiterated over and over that the site had been shut down. It only became more difficult to insist as time had gone on, given it's obviously not true. Kiwi Farms is up to this day, and by all metrics, it has way more stability than ever before. And what many of her supporters don't realize is that this is truly the beginning of the web of lies that make up this entire ordeal. Almost everything you've heard about this whole situation is a lie. And that's why I'm going to explore in depth in these next two sections. These are two very important aspects to the story, to address her portrayal of the swatting and how exactly the money was spent. When it comes to something as serious as swatting, it's important not to downplay its severity. This is a crime that's taken innocent people's lives. But curiously, her story began to change as time went on. The narrative set forth in her initial video is one of terror. Clara says on the 5th of August, she is awoken by police services pointing an assault rifle at her face. This specific detail is referenced in her video several times.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault.
Do you see the posture and everything? This video is so scripted. This video is so calculated. I'm so insecure and scared. Everything is so scary. I got a gun pointed at my face. I almost died, and now I need money.
Rifle in my face at my home. When I was
Wait, sorry, I forgot to be less expressive than that. I woke up on August 28th to an assault rifle pointed at my face. That's really what it is.
It was actually
Fuck me. Hold on. 1420. Thank God for this, dude.
woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifle pointed at me.
Assault
I thought I was going to
rifle.
die. I feel traumatized.
her story then
I feel traumatized.
changed to an encounter in the hallway. The exact phrasing is that she went into the hallway and then saw the weapon.
The email, Sorrenti says, had given out her real address and resulted in police with guns at her doorstep and her being arrested.
Police
When-
with guns as opposed to police just not with guns, just showing up to someone who they think has just made a violent threat. Yeah, that seems really sensible. That makes a lot of sense.
I went into the hallway and then saw that assault rifle. I screamed and I thought I was going to die.
A month later, she admitted that they didn't enter her apartment
Yeah, the 90s rap album pose. Yeah,
until
seriously.
after she was in custody.
They did not go into my apartment until after I was in custody.
I woke up with an assault rifle pointed at my face. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they did not go into my apartment until after I was in custody.
And they had a search warrant signed.
These next few clips are of Alex, her fiance at the time. Alex confirms she didn't wake up with a gun in her face and reveals Clara wasn't even the one to answer the door. They spoke to Alex first, who was already awake, and
Oh, that's right. Okay. The fiance is trans. Keffals groomed the fiance into being trans. Keffals literally groomed the fiance into turning into a woman. It was a man before.
gave Clara enough time to put on
Okay, I have to that sounds fucked. They were a man transitioned now to a woman.
pajamas.
So it wasn't quite that they knocked on the door and I answered. Rather, I was getting ready for the shower and there was a tremendous pounding. And so, yeah, someone did not wake her with a rifle pointed 3 inches from her face, but essentially as
And why did you say that in your video to advertise your GoFundMe?
soon as she woke up,
Was I in a state of undress? I was naked and I had to put on a pair of pajamas that was like on the floor before I could even go out to see the police officers.
See, the story has already morphed significantly from Clara waking up to guns in her face, to seeing guns in the hallway, to police never entering the apartment at all. The lack of consistency
Yeah, they literally came up and knocked on the door and they're like, "Hello, we received a concerning email. Yeah, we just want to make sure everything's okay." And she's like, "I literally almost died."
is concerning, given she was supposed to be taking legal action against them. And I mean, Keffals went so far as to compare herself to a victim of
Every time I see another story involving an innocent black man being killed by the police, I think back to last month when I had an assault rifle pointed at me by the police. This is so funny. Holy shit. And how easily that situation could have escalated if I wasn't white. Okay.
police brutality.
Thanks, Keffals. Why do people have to capitalize black? I feel like you don't need to capitalize any like race. I guess you capitalize Asian. Huh. That's interesting. Maybe by that logic, shouldn't you just capitalize all of them then? Like, people never capitalize white.
Every time I see another story involving an innocent black person
I don't care. It's just interesting.
being killed by the police, I think back to last month when I had an assault rifle. Dog, whatever you think about the interaction, it is by no means comparable to what happened to Elijah McClain. And the fact that she can't keep her story straight just makes this so much more worse. Clara also claimed police were transphobic and booked her under a dead name. If you're unaware, dead naming again refers to using a prior name for a trans person, generally.
Hold on one second. Let's see. All right, check this out. I think this is how we should capitalize. I think this is how we should capitalize black. This one right here. I think you should actually capitalize all the letters in black. And you should change the A into a V. That's epic.
Generally associated with the gender they were assigned at birth.
Oh, it's because Asia is a geographic location. Interesting.
During the arrest, the police officer referred to me by my dead name. I was booked in the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother,
that actually makes sense. Okay.
referred to me as her son. The fact that a fake email led to London Police Services booking me under my dead name reveals the prejudice that many police have towards transgender people. This is despite the fact that the email contained my
Dude,
real...
what's crazy is this police department is like one of the most progressive so this is one of the most progressive police departments in all of Canada, and they were literally nothing but respectful to keffals.
name before ever even mentioning my dead name. This is one of the property bags returned to me after I was released from custody.
And the reason that Keffals' old last name is on the bag was because this is on the police records. This wasn't like them dead naming Keffals. Not at all. This wasn't even like meant to be seen by Keffals. It wasn't a like microaggression or even an aggression at all. It was like in the system. Obviously, if your name changes, they have your old names in the books, right? So this is Keffals' old last name. And Keffals is acting like this is some sort of hate crime. Like, what?
All of the property bags returned to me have Roberts written on them. Roberts was my last name until I legally changed my name first to Kaylee Sorrenti on January 25th, 2020.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Keffals had a first changed her name to Kaylee. Kaylee.
12.
On August 11th.
That's so interesting. Wait, in 2012.
To Kaylee Sorrenti on January 25th, 2012.
I wonder how long she had the name Kaylee.
On August 11th, London Police Chief Steve Williams put out a statement regarding some of her accusations. He states that all activity in the holding cells is monitored by audio and video equipment. They reviewed the footage and found no evidence of Miss Sorrenti being addressed by her dead name and gender. Williams concluded her dead name was used on property bags due to the existence of a prior police report, explaining that it was literally for tracking purposes. He apologized and ensured a solution would be implemented to...
Yeah, and they literally like apologized even though they had no reason to. They were literally like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," you know, like basically they were just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry this offends you, and we're really sorry for making this mistake." It's like, what more could you ask for from them? Then Keffals proceeded to act like this police force had this major just like hate crime against her. Like the entire police encounter was like so transphobic. It was crazy.
Any of this in the future. Claire responded to the statement by reiterating her dead name was used during the arrest. She even speculated the timing may have been...
Didn't she also say that like the police like misgendered her to her face, but that was actually never true? Like she was doubling down on that story over and over again until the police like released like their actual police report of exactly what went down, and there was nothing like that at all.
Intentional so they wouldn't get caught.
It's important that he said, "Well, I cannot confirm any conversations which might have transpired during Miss Sorrenti's initial arrest." And that's when it happened. The activity in the holding cells is monitored. And I never made a statement about any bad things that happened while I was in custody. I would absolutely assume that when the police know that these things are being recorded and can be part of public record, they would be more careful with how they go about their business. I don't expect them to acknowledge how bad the situation actually was.
Yeah, because it
And
wasn't bad.
there's no way of verifying it besides first-person testimony because there's no body cams in the London Police Service.
Her own partner then contradicts the claim that she was
Yeah, two people who were actually there had different stories. And not to mention, Keffals, your story changed like 5 times.
dead named during the arrest, though alludes to unspecified misgendering that occurred. Once again, any instance after the arrest should have been captured on recording.
And they yelled at Clara while she was in bed. So she got up. They were saying Clara Sorrenti. Note that they did not use her dead name at this point either.
So they had it on record that, okay, we like this person's name is Claire Sorrenti. Yeah, like Femio says, it's literally just a booking error.
As far as I know, is there anything I missed, Alex?
I think that's really the main gist of the arrest portion, which was really the most
They actually like put
traumatic.
quite a bit of effort into like respecting like her gender identity or whatever.
in terms of, having the guns pointed at us, the misgendering that occurred. Yeah, that whole arrest.
But you
that-
just said, wait,
that is
at
us. The
what is this person talking about?
misgendering that occurred. Yeah, that whole arrest. That is how it happened. It wasn't straight up dynamic entry. They didn't.
The absence of evidence means that this only remains a he said, she said scenario. But it's hard to take Clara's word at face value given her complete and total lack of credibility. Another key part of her story was
Keffals
that
like literally has lied about literally every single thing that has happened to her throughout her entire career. So it's hard to even take Keffals' words seriously. Like nobody, it's like the boy who cried wolf type thing where it's like literally everything you say is like nobody even believes it anymore.
police had confiscated their devices, resulting in significant financial damages.
They seized both my personal and work phone, as well as the work computer that I broadcast on Twitch from. Not only that, but the police
Oh my
seized
God.
my fiance's cell phones and laptop, as well as their external drive, which contained the only copy of their PhD thesis and other important university documents.
So the backstory behind this, which Keffals later admits to, was that they confiscated all of her electronics and stuff because obviously they get this threat. They have to take it very seriously. They have to search through all of the information on the hard drives and everything. So they confiscate everything. And the police give her the courtesy of expediting the return of her electronics. So Keffals claims, I need this GoFundMe money to recoup my losses, meaning buy back all of the electronics and stuff. But it turns out that Keffals actually got her computers back like really fast, like much faster than you would expect. I actually hate Keffals. I used to support her and looked up to her because I'm also trans and thought she was a genuine advocate. Vile scammer. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. I think there's a lot of people in your shoes, Femios.
Because of the negligence.
I've noticed like a lot of Keffals. I have a video on my channel about Keffals from a little while ago, and I actually got a lot of comments. This thumbnail. I got a lot of comments from like Keffals fans that were like, "Wow, I actually didn't know any of this stuff." And to me, this is like basic info. I talked about the DIY HRT directory, and then the Catboy Ranch a little bit, and people don't know this. Like her fans don't know this because she just lies so much.
The police.
So I'm glad people who used to like her are figuring out that she's like a piece of shit and completely untrustworthy.
We were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones.
And this was one of her justifications to launch the GoFundMe, to recoup her losses.
I started a GoFundMe to move immediately, recoup my losses, and build a legal fund to protect my rights.
But there were no losses to recoup. The devices were returned after 3 days.
I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
That's nice.
So, yeah, that was really nice. Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
Now, if we're to believe that she meant 3 days after the swatting, that would place it on August 8th, a day before the GoFundMe started. There's also footage of Clara picking up her belongings from
Yeah,
the
so literally she doesn't even have the excuse of like, oh well, I didn't know when I was gonna get my stuff back. She already had her stuff back, and she still claimed that she had to recoup her losses with
police
electronics.
station, where you can see this property bag. It heavily resembles the property bag seen in her initial video. A close-up of one of the labels shows us a date of August 8th, 2022.
Oh my god.
This again implies that she got her stuff back before the video and GoFundMe
Oh
ever
my
even
God.
went live, and knowingly lied about needing to buy a new cell phone and computer. Even if you don't want to make that assertion, at best, she got her stuff back the next day, because this upload is dated August 10th. There is no way to reconcile these statements, and either way, it was dishonest to never update that campaign to reflect this.
Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed.
Functionally unemployed.
And I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and
She even approached me and added me on Discord after I did a stream covering the drama between her and Leafy, and added me to the private group chat with Tipster. Damn. I had like 1K subs. Holy shit.
cell phones, so our lives aren't
I feel like it would be a very surreal experience to be like almost like an insider with this person and then realize like that they're actually like a complete liar.
completely destroyed by what happened to us.
Now, keffals launched her GoFundMe on August 9, 2022 with an initial goal of $20,000.
Then she ghosted me and removed me when she realized I might be bad optics. Yeah.
The page claims that if
I think I recognize you. I feel like I know who you are.
this amount was exceeded, the funds would be allocated to a legal fund to protect herself against ongoing and future threats to her safety. However, this was later changed to, I am keeping the GoFundMe up, but all donations are going directly to my legal fund, which I will be using to seek justice. Now, this is a very, very important distinction, because it means all the donations past the first 20 grand were explicitly for legal action. See, Clara...
What's crazy is like she's never going to sue the police. In my opinion, I don't think she's ever going to sue anyone. Keffals just has no intention of ever, because first of all, the lawsuit would just be throwing money away. It doesn't even make sense to sue the police because they did nothing wrong. But also like at this point, it's like she's already admitted, as we saw at the beginning of the video, that she's just thrown all the money away on other shit already. There's just no way that this lawsuit is ever happening. And recently she said like, oh yeah, I'm going to postpone the lawsuit, or it's going to take like 3 years. It's going to be 2026. I think she's just banking on everyone forgetting about this whole thing by 2026 and hoping that, nothing ever comes of it and people aren't going to care anymore. Just totally trying to use me. Saw that I'm entertaining and have a good chance of being a decently sized content creator and wanted to take advantage when I'm small. Keffals needs to buy $2,000 gaming chairs. True.
gradually kept raising
Yeah, and
the goal
gaming chairs
until it reached
and gaming chairs for her friends, apparently helping them out, buying and also furniture for her apartment.
over $100,000 on the 20th.
She wants attention. Yeah, exactly.
If you want to be technical, it actually never ended because she's still taking donations to this day. In fact, there wasn't even a fixed amount, which is odd, as it makes it seem like her goal
Donate, Muta.
was to basically raise as much money as
Should we donate for the meme?
possible,
Just give Keffals money as a joke.
rather than afford an
That would be less worth it than when I gave iDubbbz money to watch his fucking podcast.
intentional expense. Naturally, with her effort raising over $100,000,
Yeah, seriously. By 2020, Mars by 2023. Dude, I forgot about that. Holy
there
shit.
were questions over how the money was spent. Claire has tried to poison the well numerous times by calling anyone who asks this question bad faith. I'll never do a GoFundMe breakdown for
Mars
bad
I can't believe. Oh my god. That just registered.
faith actors who neither
We dropping frames? All right, we're back. We're back. Okay, I don't know what's happening there. That was weird. Dropped some frames.
articles published about the situation, including The Guardian, NBC, CNN, Bloomberg, the Associated Press, and Canadian state-funded news outlet CBC. Popular politicians like Jagmeet Singh of the NDP party took a stand by her publicly. Normies were led to believe a series of events that did not occur. And there are regular folk out there who don't have the time or capability to ensure their funds weren't misused, especially when there is a limited amount of financial support for at-risk members of the trans community. There is nothing wrong with questioning for transparency of where this money had went. In fact, more people should actually
I had leftists for almost a year accusing me of scamming people out of $100,000 with no evidence. These are abusive people who want an acceptable target. They acted like fascists. They acted like fascists for questioning where your money went that people gave you to sue the police. That's very fascist, yeah.
be
Asking for transparency is fascist.
where this
Very
money
true.
even went. Clara posted this photo in her Discord server, which was
Keffals
enough
is just one of those people who takes advantage of like these social justice type people who really want to rally behind like a cause online and uses it to like her own advantage. That's what a lot of this is. It's just like that's why Keffals brings up the transphobia thing all the time. That's why Keffals brings up Kiwi Farms all the time, because it's like, remember me? I'm the person who was taking down Kiwi Farms and beating transphobia. I was owning the transphobes. And so that's all Keffals has now. So that's why, like, even with this thumbnail drama, the thumbnail of this video, it's like, oh, it's transphobic, and it's literally like the least like transphobic portrait of Keffals that I've ever seen. I've seen some really mean ones.
for trolls to bombard the hotel with pizzas. The next day,
I remember when she tried that on HD. Oh my god, I think he covers that in this video. Muta covers that in this video. It's really funny, dude. That interview was so bad. H3 was trying to give her like softball questions the whole time, and Keffals was like fucking it up. Like Keffals was like so nervous and like wasn't expecting like some of these questions. Like H3 asked her about like, oh, do you have so like people say that like you have minors like in your Discord in like your Discord server, and Keffals is like, I don't have anything except my Twitch chat. I don't know what they're talking about. And it's like, you literally do have a server. What are you fucking saying? What are you talking about?
Things had escalated, and she was now in hiding. If you recall, another goal of hers was to
Oh yeah, and they asked her about the DIY HRT directory, and she like acted like she had no idea what that was, and then they clicked on it on screen. They're like, "Oh, it's this right here," and then she's like, "Oh yeah, that's the DIY HRT directory."
Out immediately after someone hacked her Uber Eats account and sent $500 worth of food.
So what happened? I woke up and I got an email that the Uber the email for my Uber Eats account was changed, and then I looked outside the door and there was like at least $500 worth of food ordered with my hacked Uber account.
Oops.
So I got doxxed again, except this time I also got hacked.
She expedited an already planned.
Look at all that food. Cinnabon. Dude, did they order her some like gross ass shit? I would honestly, if I was in this situation, I would eat all the food.
Trip to Europe. Her rationale was that London
I'd be
police
like, yes, score, and I'd put it all in my fridge and I would eat
didn't
it.
have the resources to stop online trolls. And then she went live to provide further details.
Are you moving to Europe? I'm gonna be living there for a while, but I'm not moving there. My fiance is staying back in Canada, and I'm gonna be in the UK on my own for a while. I think that the current plan is that in 2-3 weeks of my stay, my fiance is going to be coming over, and we'll stay together for a while. On Monday, I find out if I got approved or not for the new place that I want to live at.
I think this is Kiwi Farms' like YouTube client too. I'm pretty sure. Wait, did they censor like the background so they can't tell? Wait, what? Oh no, they censored the chat. I see.
Which will give us a really good time frame of what we're gonna do.
Her fans begged her to stop giving out information.
Stop giving out details. Stop telling me what to do.
Later that day, Clara tweeted.
Dude, later in this video, also Keffals says, I had to learn how to be, I had to go to like a cybersecurity company to like have them teach me how to not get doxxed. And it's like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Don't talk about locations that you're going to. don't take pictures of things with like visually identifiable landmarks or information. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. But those two things are like the biggest things that can get you doxxed. But Keffals insisted on doing them. You didn't need to hire anyone to help you not get doxxed. It's just fucking common sense. Change your passwords and don't tell people where you're gonna be.
Do
Yeah, literally, don't do IRL streaming. Exactly.
I have any followers in Europe? Let me know if you want to meet up. Her first stream back revealed she was in Northern Ireland.
So, I'm okay. I am currently in Ireland. I am staying with a friend. I'm safe. Things are good. Don't tell people what country. It is
I'm curious why like the Keffals Twitch chat gets censored. I wonder why.
completely fine. Do you know how
Maybe just to like
dense
keep these people anonymous or something? I don't know.
Ireland is? Very dense country. I do not think it's gonna be a problem.
She was staying with a friend named Ellen. Her ex-fiance never moved over for reasons we're actually going to discuss later. Ellen had already been doxxed months prior, and their apartment was found within 24 hours. And a troll took this photo outside their building. They were able to find her location just by using a doorknob. To be clear, I'm not endorsing any of this behavior or doing it, or even saying if you're careless, you deserve that this happens to you. My argument is that if you're willing to leave a continent to another continent to escape trolls, there is a lot you could do for less to mitigate the risk of doxing. For example, not buying equipment specifically for IRL streaming and announcing where you're going to be in
Yeah.
advance. At one point, Ellen revealed they were going to go to visit a poutine truck in Belfast. The owner received
This is so obvious. They're just baiting. They're just waiting for people to fucking. Oh my god. They're literally just waiting for people to. They're begging for people to dox them. It's actually so transparent.
bomb threats, which Clara used to tease.
They just want this media. They just wanted this media campaign to go on and on forever. Oh, guys, remember Keffals? She got doxxed again. Oh no, she's getting bomb threats. Oh, guys, someone showed up at her house again. Oh, her life is so scary, and it's all because of Kiwi Farms.
An IRL stream on Twitter. Hey, maybe it's a one-off mistake, right? A day later, Ellen publicly fielded suggestions for future IRL stream locations in Ireland. I want to reiterate, if you are in hiding, why would you buy new
Yeah.
streaming equipment specifically for streaming in the public? And
Especially when your whole reason that you stated publicly was moving to Ireland was to run away from being doxxed. Like, that's just so dumb.
then also share where you plan on going in advance? By her own admission, she wanted to stoke the flames in order to maximize publicity.
By intentionally making myself a lightning rod so I could make Kiwi Farms more vicious and attack me to the point where Cloudflare had no choice. Because every time they attacked me, I publicized it. One of the things
Yeah, so literally just admits it later on.
that I did intentionally for the success of the campaign.
Dude, this was the era, by the way. I watched a lot of Keffals' streams around this time. This was the era when Keffals was visibly intoxicated on drugs. And actually, Erica and I guessed that she was on stimulants and benzos based on her behavior. And it turns out that was actually true. She was doing coke, meth, and like Xanax or something. So inconsiderate of her if she's doing that in an apartment complex. Yeah, seriously. It's gonna freak out the neighbors. Yeah. She literally is. She's just selfish. She's trying to get media attention, and she wants people to hate her. That was a big part of it.
Was make myself a lightning rod. I egged them on. I egged Kiwi Farms on.
Dude,
I
I wonder if I
wanted-
still have this clip. It was from this era. It was the same background and everything. When Keffals was like so fucked up, like just like shaking your head constantly like this, and like forgetting what she was saying halfway through a sentence, and like fucking slurring her words and everything. It was so obvious that she was on drugs. And like people didn't even really like her chat didn't even really notice it. And also she would take like these 5-minute breaks like every 10 minutes. She'd be like, all right, wait, BRB. She'd put on the BRB screen and go do some fucking lines of coke in the bathroom and then come back.
Wanted them to attack me. because by doing that, I was able to show the world how fucking vile they are.
In the past, streamers have been punished for similar behavior. Ice Poseidon was notorious for being a constant target of swatting. He was ultimately banned after streaming and getting swatted inside an airport, and while it wasn't his fault, at a certain point he was clearly feigning ignorance and enabling his troll's behavior for content. What makes
Oh, sorry,
Clara's
my mouse
behavior
is in the way.
different, and what actually prevented her from staying in Canada? Well, if you think it's fucked up for me to question it, don't worry, because Keffals has since admitted that this entire cover story was all a lie.
Yeah.
Nowadays, her explanation for leaving the continent was not to escape online harassment, but to escape her ex-fiancé, Alex, who she now accuses of being abusive. To not get
I was raped. Have you guys seen this? The thumbnail? The thumbnail where it's just Keffals with her tits out and it says like I was raped as the video title. It's just like Keffals' default thumbnail on literally all of her like live streams on YouTube. And then there were like 3 that were really funny. There was I was raped, and then what else was there? It was just like the juxtaposition of like, you know, saying I was raped next to a picture of you with like cat ears and your titties out.
get too deep into it, this is after her ex-fiancé called her out for leaving to cheat on her with Ellen.
This is where I need to admit something. Last year, I was in the papers. This was on CBC, Canada's biggest media outlet. Twitch streamer and trans activist says she's leaving Canada for a while due to harassment. Earlier this month, Clara Sorrenti was the target of a swatting incident and has been doxxed and hacked. And there was a criticism that I frequently got throughout that time. How does moving to a different country help you with online harassment? And as we found out, it didn't. Because once I landed in Belfast, I had people showing up, making threats outside of where I was staying. And I knew that no matter where I went in the world,
This was a 4chan user as well. This wasn't even a Kiwi farmer. Like they went here to like troll and like give Kiwi Farms bad PR essentially. They posted this picture. This picture was posted on 4chan.
would not escape online harassment as long as I was an online figure. And the truth is,
Whoa, she says figure kind of sus. Guys, let's listen to that again.
as I was an online figure. And the truth is,
What were you, Keffals?
as long as I was an online figure. And the truth is, I left the country because of my ex and because I was scared of my ex. Because my ex was abusive and abused me emotionally and yelled at me and consistently coerced me into sex. That's why I left. But I couldn't tell anyone. I didn't want it to be a big thing. I didn't want it to be in the papers. Well, all the
I
journalists
don't know about this. It's hard to say like if this is actually true or not.
were circling around and writing their stories. I didn't want that to be known. I didn't want any of this to ever be out in public.
Interesting.
So here's
Her escape basically amounted to a paid-for vacation across Europe, evident by a leaked post from her closed Twitter circle.
Oh my god.
On September
I never saw this. Staying in Ireland until the 27th. Then I'm heading to Spain until the 11th. I get my apartment on the 12th. Yeah, basically just posting your entire fucking itinerary on Twitter publicly.
14th.
Very
Clara
cool.
reveals she was staying in Ireland until the 27th, then heading to Spain until the 11th, before moving into her apartment on the 12th. Now, the dates imply that she had already just bought tickets, but she ended up in London instead to watch a play. Clara then briefly returned to Ireland before flying to the United States to attend TwitchCon. Not only did she stream the event IRL, but she even antagonized Destiny's ex-wife for being married to him.
Kevils went to go, and she went up to Melina, and she was shaking. Like, it was like she was so anxious or so angry, she was shaking, right? And she said, "Tell your husband, if he doesn't stop coming for me, I'm going to get his YouTube channel deleted."
Dude,
No.
I remember when that clip came out. Oh my god, that got posted on LSF, and people were like, "This clip actually got pretty popular."
Memes. That happened. Okay.
So Keffals
I'm
moved
gonna get your YouTube channel deleted. Goes up to Destiny's wife and says, tell him to stop going after me online, or else I'm gonna get his YouTube channel deleted. That's crazy. Imagine having the nerve to do that in real life. Holy shit.
into her new apartment on October 12th and
I
used some
honestly
of the
kind of
GoFundMe
respect it a
money to
little
pay
bit because
for
a lot of people, I honestly kind of respect that because I feel like a lot of people won't match the same energy they have online in person. I mean, despite how much I hate keffals, I feel like keffals would be the type of person to go up and be like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you," and then like act all friendly and act like nothing happened, and then go back online the next day and be like, "Fuck Destiny." But she actually had the balls to walk up to Melina and say that. It's pretty funny.
a full year's worth of rent in advance.
So, just a quick update. I have an apartment for October. I'm moving then. I have it. I've already paid. I'm putting it, like, I'm using the GoFundMe money to pay an entire year in advance.
Now, which is not something she ever said she was going to do, and a huge departure from just moving. Clara moves into a luxury apartment and with a low approximation amounting to $28,000. So far, Clara has admitted to spending the money on new devices, as well as equipment for IRL streaming.
Wait, was that? Did he mean to censor that?
She traveled across Europe.
I mean, I guess it
planning
doesn't matter. It's not like she lives there anymore, right?
to visit Spain from Ireland, but ended up at a play in London instead. She then flies to TwitchCon in the United States before getting an apartment in Canada and then paying an entire year's worth of rent. There, she bought even more equipment to build a professional set with studio lights. While it's difficult to make an exact calculation for this, the gaming chair alone, her gaming chair, would have cost over $2,000.
I had to
Oh my-
take extra caution
Okay, those gaming chairs are actually nice though.
with the set.
Keffals, if you buy me a gaming chair like that, I will fucking I will delete all my negative videos about you. How about that? Give me some of that sweet GoFundMe money and I'll forgive you for everything, Keffals. I'm kind of guilty of acting differently online. Online, I like being an asshole on the internet, but I'm actually shy and awkward in person. I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty common, but I think it's like a lot harder to act like to match your energy from online in person, especially when when you're like known for being like antagonistic or whatever.
That I made. It's not even a set. It's just like part
I
of
feel
my
like that's
home.
like a pretty common thing.
But it is basically a set. I have like studio lights. I have like whole camera thing. It's very professional.
Oh, this was the
So
drugged
I
out
had to
era
go
too.
through all of this as soon as I got back from TwitchCon to make sure that I could just like return to my life before I was swatted.
But see,
Can you guys kind of see the like coked out behaviors here a little bit?
Before I was swatted.
that wasn't
Con to make sure that I could just like return to my life
Her eyes are like locking onto shit, like in different spots, and she did like the head shake thing that I was talking about earlier.
before I was.
I might have even watched this stream. I think I did watch this stream. I'd be terrified of antagonizing someone in person because I'm 5'6" and not very strong. Someone could just end my life. Yeah, I mean,
Swatted.
even then,
But
like
see, that-
very few people would actually get like physical. Like, I feel like, yeah, I don't know.
wasn't the
I
only thing
understand. I understand the fear though. I feel like I would like to think that I'd be able to be confrontational in person, but then like in reality, it would be a lot harder than it sounds.
she admits to spending some of this GoFundMe money on.
I mean, someone be a cokehead and still talk super slow, dude. She's self-medicating. It's her plant medicine.
Clara also says she contracted a security company in September to keep herself safe.
I consulted with a security company and they made all of my devices hack proof and they gave me tips on not getting doxxed again. They also helped me with a whole bunch of other stuff that
Yeah, so they made me hack proof and they gave me tips on not getting doxxed.
I can't
Okay.
talk about because I signed an NDA.
So change your passwords. Don't have the same password for everything. And don't post pictures of where you're staying. And don't do IRL streams. How about that?
Okay, like
That advice was free, Keffals. I feel like at this point Keffals really owes me the Herman Miller embodied chair. I really do.
non-disclosure agreement. I already hired a lawyer, and all of the information between me and my lawyer is privileged and confidential, and I can't talk about it. So the money towards a legal fund is being utilized, but until
Keffals has her webcam in like the same spot as mine, so I keep like going like on full screening so you guys can
the
see.
point where I can actually talk about what I'm doing, I can't say anything. So I use the money to find a place, to contract a security company to keep myself safe, and to hire a lawyer.
This raises an interesting question on what the security company was doing beyond making her devices hack-proof. That same month, she confronted
Dude,
a
Snowman, you
prolific
know what was funny about that too is like apparently Keffals found out that the coke was laced with meth too. So that was like a speedball. Well, not a speedball. It was like coke and meth mixed together, staying up for apparently like Keffals stayed up for like 2 weeks or 8 days or something, 8 days straight at certain times, and it was seriously yeah, like that was her like maxed out on coke and meth, and she still talks that slow. Full screening your web. Oh, that's a good idea. I should do that.
member of the Kiwi Farms thread. Keffals tried to intimidate the user with their personal information, claiming to have hired a private investigator. I know the PI will get me more, though. He's still talking to the family and school officials. This didn't work because they doxed the wrong person. The user mocked her and asked if she paid for the PI using her GoFundMe. Clara responded, "No, the GoFundMe is currently in savings until I need to use it." In case you doubt the authenticity of these messages, Clara has confirmed that they are real several times. And I don't know about you, but hiring a private investigator so you can confront trolls with bad info doesn't sound like the action of someone in fear of their life. Her messages also contradict a tweet where she says $50,000 was already put into the legal fund. The final thing Clara mentions in that
Yeah, so
screen
that was
clip
just a
is using
complete lie.
the money to hire a lawyer. What's interesting is that by her own words, she already had a lawyer and was consulting two more. The day after the GoFundMe had launched. It was one of her earliest responses to criticisms over reportedly raising her goal.
Yes, I'm using these funds to move, but more importantly, once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses.
Was it always called moving and legal fund? I'm pretty sure it was. I'm curious if it was originally just called legal fund.
Because I'm not just moving, I'm also taking legal action. I already have one lawyer, and I'm consulting with two more.
What if I just go like this for now?
I'm going to get justice for what happened to me, and for every other marginalized person in this country who has been victimized.
Whoops. That's
Legal
good for
fees
now.
are
I'll just leave it like that.
incredibly expensive.
Dude, yeah, she has to get wired on this shit, dude. Hell yeah.
I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money, because I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that.
You're
This
never
is-
taking legal action.
Strange in retrospect, as only 12 days later, she made it very clear she was holding off pursuing legal action against the London police.
After it first happened, I was very mad at the police, and I wanted to hold their feet to the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them, but they've taken the threat against my life very seriously, and I want to see justice. There's a lot of leads right now, and they might actually be able to catch the person who swatted me. And with what is going on and the connections to Kiwi Farms, knowing that they're monitoring the thread, we might actually see something happen.
Now, at around the same time, she told the Kiwi Farms user the money was in savings. She claimed she never said she was going to sue the police.
Yeah, that's
What?
all I said. I never said that I was going to sue the police. I wanted to
What
be
else would the lawsuit be for? You talked about how the police wronged you in a legal sense like so many times. What are you talking about? I never said I was going to sue the police, guys. That's obviously what you said. Also, I'm going to use the bathrooms. Let me just open. We'll watch my other Keffals video here. You mean you inject estrogen cooked up in some depressed trans girl's bathtub directly into your cardoid every other day? I got 500 plus minors on HRT, not just 7. I wonder why you got kicked off of PayPal. You were just selling illegal drugs on the internet to minors.
Because I stand by supporting the DIY HRT directory.
This person is literally talking about like sexually charged shit and saying their age when they're underage. So Keffals has been coming up again recently with the Vosh lolly stuff, and Keffals jumped to Vosh's defense. So people are starting to bring up old things about Keffals. Muta was talking about the Catboy Ranch in this tweet, where he says, over 2 years ago, an infamous creator known as Keffals launched a viral campaign on the internet. As I research more about this event and her, I've come across disturbing revelations of her Catboy Ranch. Can't go too into detail, but it's an insane story and none of it is pleasant. I planned to cover this sooner, but in the last few weeks, I've had time to truly put towards projects, and this was on the top. If anyone wants to come forward with more information on the now deleted information, please contact me via DMs. For some reason, Keffals didn't anticipate that people were just going to start like digging up old stuff. And honestly, I didn't really see that coming either. Like, I thought that everyone sort of knew about the DIY HRT directory, the Catboy Ranch, and the Kiwi Farm stuff, but people are bringing it up like as if it's like brand new. So I just wanted to, since I know so much about all this shit, I wanted to make a stream doing a deep dive on it. So there was also this article that was posted. A transgender Twitch streamer is facing scrutiny once again after admitting to sponsoring a DIY hormone directory that was reportedly accessed by minors. It goes way beyond that, by the way. So Josh Moon retweeted Mutahar saying, just say that Kiwi Farms was right. And Keffals says, if the owner of Kiwi Farms is cheering you on, you need to reconsider your life choices. What? Why? Just because like something is like accepted on Kiwi Farms makes it like wrong to agree with it or something. So Keffals had this friend named Bob Posting. Bob Posting was another trans person. We're back. All right, let's keep going. Let's see.
Very careful with the language that I used because I don't know exactly what the plan is. I know that I'm eventually going to take legal action in some way or another, but I don't know yet, and I can't talk about the different things that have been discussed
I don't know yet.
between my lawyer and I.
Now, going back to Destiny's manifesto, this was scrutinized on a much wider scale, which led many to start asking for a breakdown of expenses. Clara refused because I'm not.
Keffals even did a GoFundMe, which has been based entirely on lies if you follow the threads to the start. I cannot be okay with someone that toxic. If you want to be a fan, just know who you're supporting. Someone no better than those they try to fight. Fund. What? GoFundMe. Okay. Not okay for thee, but fine for me. Yeah, Keffals does do that all the time, but because she claims to be a leftist, it's okay. Yeah.
Not providing a product to investors.
I feel like a lot of people, and people on the right and the left both do this. They do this thing where they excuse like bad behaviors when it benefits like their side. And I feel like maybe everyone is probably guilty of this sometimes. But I think it's just something that everyone should be aware of, like whether you're on the right or the left. There are going to be people who are going to be bad faith actors that may agree with you, and you might think, "Oh, they're awesome. Like they're so based." But then like you should be still on the lookout for like these behaviors, like intentionally misinterpreting what someone is saying, or using like these social issues to benefit themselves. You know, these are all things that happen across the political spectrum.
I won't be sharing expense breakdowns.
And a lot of these people are just like not principled, which is kind of sad to see.
I've been advised by lawyers to keep everything close to vest for legal and safety reasons. Clara rebuked that there was a legal fund. She got an apartment and was now processing the entire event. Now, you're probably wondering, if she wasn't planning on suing the police, why did she hire lawyers and what was the point of the legal fund? Well, if you read between...
I really like, this is just a random aside, but I really like Mutahar's camera angle. I feel like a really nice high camera angle is like, this looks good. This is a good angle to shoot videos from.
lines, some of you might be able to infer what actually happened. On October 2nd, 2022, Clara posted a client engagement agreement to prove legal action was underway. If you look at the bottom, you can see the document reads, "We have concluded a review of our records, and we confirm that we have not identified a conflicting interest in representing you in this matter. We searched the following names that you provided to us as being relevant. The terms they searched for were Clara Sorrenti, Kiwi Farms, and KiwiFarms.net. Now, this proves she was paying money to consult lawyers about a lawsuit against Kiwi
Yeah, I
Farms.
was gonna say, doesn't that just not like prove that there's any legal action being taken?
Not the London police. It's dated August 10th, the same exact day as her stream, stating that she'd consulted a lawyer. There isn't actually even a good explanation of why she did this. Kiwi Farms was never mentioned as the intended target of her legal fund. The only
What would you sue Kiwi Farms for? What would you ever sue Kiwi Farms for? I guess like people could try to sue them for defamation or something, but I feel like with public figures, defamation is very, very hard to prove. Like, and on Kiwi Farms, there's usually reasons why they think certain things. Like, it's usually obvious when something is just speculation or guessing. So I don't know. The whole site is like a snark site that revolves around commentary and analysis of things, trying to figure out stuff behind the scenes, trying to figure out what's going on. So that's like the whole point. I feel like it would be almost impossible to prove defamation from there.
entity named the GoFundMe.
I mean,
was
people
the
have
London-
tried, right? Like, what's that guy's name? I'm trying to think of a. I'm trying to think of his real name, but I just know that that Josh Moon calls him like the Mountain Jew. That guy. That guy tried to sue Kiwi Farms for defamation, I believe, and he lost. And then he has tried to sue him like several times after that. DM Keffals saying she should make a video explaining why she can't do the lawsuit and just donate the 80K to charity. I'm guessing she's not going to respond. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Well, the money's all gone. The money is totally gone.
London police. So this took place around the same time
She talks about how the GoFundMe money ran out so fast, which means she spent the 100K.
She claimed she never intended to sue the police. And if you're wondering why it didn't go anywhere, for as much as people
But you know
hate
what?
Kiwi
If she managed to get 80 grand together on her own and donate it to charity, I would respect that. I would respect that a little bit. Gonna be honest.
Farms, the website
Try to
is
make it right.
entirely legal.
The thing is, she can't just like be straight up with people ever. She can't come forward and be like I would even respect her just going live and say, yes, guys, I did spend all the GoFundMe money. I had a drug problem, and you know I was really irresponsible with it. Even just that, I would respect.
There are countless examples of attempted litigation that demonstrate this and why it never actually came to fruition. One thing I also want to address is some people have said, whoa, did you get some of your evidence on the Kiwi Farms? Even if I did, that doesn't make the evidence inadmissible.
Dude, people do that all the time. People always say fucking Kiwi Farms evidence is just like worthless because they're just bad faith. They're just there to like shit on people. And it's like that doesn't make any of their evidence not real. Like you still have to go through things and verify it yourself. You still have to look at it and come to your own conclusions on it. But the evidence itself is like a great resource. It's one of the best things about Kiwi Farms. They document everything. Me spending 100K is impressive. I don't think I can ever do that. I think it's really easy to spend it that fast when you're like moving several times. That's got to be like at least 10K each move minimum, because you got to pay for the plane ticket, you got to pay for movers to grab all your stuff, you got to pay to ship it overseas. And then also just the traveling, probably went on vacation, probably ate out food. I feel like if you feel like you have a big sum of money, it's really easy to just burn through it really fast. Yeah, if I got 100K, I would just be like, okay, I'm putting this away and I'm gonna like trickle this money out of the account and try to live exactly the same as I already live and not spend any more money. Because it would just be nice to have like a little nest egg like that.
Evidence is actually cataloged on archive websites that capture a snapshot of a web page and tweets and whatnot.
By the way, the Drop Kiwi Farms people tried to take Kiwi Farms out of archive.org so that people couldn't see the evidence and stuff that Kiwi Farms had archived. They didn't want any trace of any Kiwi Farms threads on the internet. So they went to archive.org. Liz Fong Jones, I'm pretty sure it was Liz Fong Jones, got archive.org to delist all Kiwi Farms URLs from the archive service.
This is to ensure that nothing that I'm showing you is actually altered and it was as it was originally posted. This makes the evidence admissible. It's kind of like saying, wow, did you find that perfectly good piece of evidence sitting in the middle of a neo-Nazi compound? Yeah, trust me, I get the whole building surrounding it is pretty shitty, but that doesn't mean the evidence is inadmissible. It's still perfectly good evidence. I just wanted to address this point because it's a common deflection and one that I absolutely need to nip in the butt.
Suing Kiwi Farms was actually something that I previously considered and was consulting with lawyers about doing that. And I basically came to the conclusion after looking into it that it's not worth it. There's little I can do as a Canadian.
It's not worth it. Yeah, it's obviously not worth it because you don't have grounds to sue them for anything. So it's just a waste of money. This is why I don't think she's ever going to sue anyone, because it's just like, she's already spent the money. She doesn't have any grounds to sue anyone on. There would just be no point. Even if she had the money, there would just be no point in trying to sue these people because they haven't committed any wrongs against her. The only people that have committed wrongs against her are the people who originally doxed her on the original site that wasn't Kiwi Farms, and the people who, like, sent that fucking email to the city council. Those are the only people that she could, not even honestly, the doxing person wouldn't even have legal grounds. Doxing is perfectly legal. The person who sent a threat to the city council in her name, that's the only person that has committed a crime against her.
To benefit from doing a lawsuit against Kiwi
That's
Farms.
literally it. Why don't you try to find out who that person is and sue them? Spend money on that.
The only possible lawsuit being a defamation lawsuit, which there is little to no benefit for me to do.
3 days after posting that letter, Claire admitted on a private stream that she hadn't even started yet. Her unnecessary traveling is blamed for keeping her busy, which to me is an admission that she wasn't all that interested in consulting her lawyers.
But now I'm going to be focusing more on the legal things because I'm settled down, I'm back in Canada, and I have time to work on this now. Consulted quite a bit with my lawyers, but we, at the time, were, especially during the campaign, basically unsure of how to go forward, especially because my availability was kind of all over the place.
And that's because this will be a very important issue later. She was still in the process of collecting evidence.
But the problem is right now is that I'm still in the process of I have to collect all the evidence. One of the first steps that you need to do is collect evidence. And if you
and I don't have any. I can't find anything that makes these people look bad. I don't know why.
Announce prematurely who you
It's almost like your entire campaign was just built on like lies the entire time.
Taking legal action against. It gives that party an opportunity to try and destroy as much evidence as possible. I'm not even going to publicly comment on the party either.
Now, for this to make sense, you kind of have to assume she wasn't talking about the police. In that case, we already know what proof does or does not exist. Her recount can't be proven, and even if we're to believe her, it's hard to argue the police acted out of prejudice. This is brought up by Nicholas Diorio, who got some interesting answers out of her on stream. The first clip is Clara stating she was still engaged in legal action against the police.
I wasn't aware you were still engaging with legal action of the police.
I am. It's just like...
With police. 1 year ago.
There's been so much shit that happened. And then, like, immediately after, like, getting back from everything, I had to move. And I, like, just got unpacked, like, 2 weeks ago.
Claire describes a specific incident in which she was dead-named while being put in handcuffs. However, she admits it could have been an honest mistake.
Nicholas Diorio asks such good questions, dude. He's a smart guy, I like him.
And the officer didn't know what a dead name was.
Now, there are questions as to the dead naming taking place. They claim they have no footage of you being dead named once you get back to the precinct. And you claim there was dead naming. So the only time that could have happened is during the swatting itself. Is that still something that you claim?
Yeah, that was something that happened with the constable that arrested me, like when I was actually being put in
What?
handcuffs.
Look, I don't have a problem with spicing up the story a little bit, but and I understand the like how this upset you and your family, but it really does sound like you kind of slandered those cops. Like,
Yes.
so
True. True, dude.
I don't think I slandered them. I mean,
Dude, they put so much effort into being very careful and like respecting this person's identity. And then Keffals goes and like claims like transphobia, cries transphobia, and like says that like they fucking hate crimed her basically. That's literally the impression that she gave to people. That's the story she handed out. She gave to journalists. She even said it on like live TV. Like this was the narrative that she ran with.
if we're taking them at face value, right? For that they
If I was in that police force and I put all that effort and whatever into like respecting someone like that, it, like they probably aren't even legally required to do so. Maybe in Canada, yeah, maybe. But it seemed like they were actually being very careful and being very like they were taking great care to respect this person and not disturb her as much as possible, right? But like I don't know, dude, like she just turns around and calls them transphobes and makes up this story about how they were like misgendering her and oh no, on the evidence bag it had my old last name.
thought when they were going into your house that they were like.
Also, I feel like old last name isn't even as bad as like your old first name, right? Because your last name is never gendered at all. So who cares? That's like if you got a divorce. That's like if you got a divorce and then you got stuff confiscated by the police and they brought it back to you with your old married name and you're like, "Oh, how dare they? I'm not married anymore. This isn't my last name anymore." I never thought about it that way, dude. That's actually true. Like why how is she considering that dead naming?
Potentially dealing with somebody who is planning to shoot up a like public office building or something like that with like politicians, then like it's totally possible that they thought that was your name, like that you went by that name. So
I mean, no, because the email.
That's true too. If the email said so, they might have just asked. Maybe I could see a situation where the cop asks like, "Do you go by this or do you go by Clara?" You know what I mean?
Did you read the email?
Yes, I did read
And,
it.
and then of course Keffals would consider that misgendering and dead naming.
The email is my name is Clara Sorrenti.
But then it was signed with your dead name.
Yeah.
It said my name is Clara Sorrenti and then my dead name is blank and they put the dead name. So they made a decision at that point that they thought that my name wasn't actually my name and dead.
I feel like I can feel through the screen. I can feel Keffals' cogs in her brain turning to like say, wait, how do I make this sound right? How do I like make this story sound believable? Can you guys feel that too? I feel like I noticed that when I hear Keffals like being confronted about the story a lot of the time. She's like thinking like, wait, have I said this before? Is this gonna make me sound bad?
Name was a real name. The officer that actually like arrested me said she did not actually know what a dead name was.
Now this is where the story
Oh,
starts
no.
to take a very
They don't know what a dead name is, but they still put effort into like respecting you anyways. Like not everyone knows what that shit is.
drastic turn. In the same private stream, Clara states that she had 2 years to take legal action due to the statute of limitations. Her plan was to start sometime in December or January of 2023.
A timeline of how things are happening. I have a total of 2 years to take legal actions. That's a statute of limitations. I want to start before this year ends, ideally. Like if I can kick things off in December or in January in the new year, that would be ideal. That's when I want. I talked to my lawyer today and it's looking
Why does Keffals look like a waitress at a restaurant in this fit?
like January is the month.
Hi, my name is Claire. I'll be your server today. It's a pleasure to serve you today. What could I start you off with some drinks?
where I'm going to be filing against the London Police Service. Once the video is out, everyone will know like all of the details of the case going forward. I've already been told that the case that I'm about to start could take up to 5 years.
This never came to fruition, with the activist drifting away from politics and stoking the flames of online drama. She started fighting with people like Keemstar in her own community, to the point that Drop Kiwi Farms officially denounced her. Her self-destructive
my God.
behavior drew a
Dude, I forgot about that. Okay, so basically, Drop Kiwi Farms, the Twitter account is Drop Kiwi Farms, and it's run by this person named Sincere. And then the person who's basically coordinating all of the stuff to try to kick Kiwi Farms off of platforms now is Liz Fong Jones. And Liz Fong Jones has basically just been probably at this point even worse than Keffals in terms of the amount of I don't want to say harassment, because I think that's kind of gay, but the amount of like dedication to deplatforming Kiwi Farms is like insane. Like, Liz Fong Jones has not let go of trying to deplatform Kiwi Farms since then. Yeah, more like, hi, my name is Keffals. Dude, literally.
lot of concern, which eventually led people to discover that she'd actually relapsed into addiction. It was leaked publicly on February 19, 2023, and a few days later that Clara admitted herself to inpatient rehab. Now, I'm not here to shame Keffals about her addiction. It's important for people to take recovery very seriously. But the timeline of events also can't be ignored. The relapse occurred after the attempt at swatting. Clara says after settling into her new apartment in October, she began drinking excessively. And at the start of 2020,
That GoFundMe money, man. That GoFundMe money. I don't know. I feel like that's a possible explanation, that the GoFundMe money went into cocaine and stuff, but I don't know.
she started doing full-blown Colombian, and I'm not talking about no coffee boy.
I got really depressed. I lost interest in politics. I lost interest in basically all of the things that helped me build a platform in the first place. And around the end of 2022, I started drinking, which made me spiral. It was around the time that I was in fights with Keemstar. I started drinking, and then as more...
Dude, this is so funny. I think Keffals said that one call that she had with Keem and Nick DiOrio, I think, was like what made her start doing coke.
More shit started happening. I started doing cocaine at the start of 2023.
Near the end of the month, she went on an 8-day coke bender before finding out that some of that coke was, I guess, cut with meth.
8 days into a cocaine bender, I found out that the coke that I was doing was cut with meth. So for 8 days straight, I was
you get
doing
more for your money that way, Keffals.
coke and meth.
This took place a few days after she had said the dreaded R word, ooh, which she later blamed on...
Oh, man.
withdrawals, apparently. Her
Oh
spiral
my.
worked.
Guys, I was just withdrawing so hard, and that's why I said that's why I said retard. I was just I wanted cocaine. I wanted more cocaine.
As she started doing coke, meth, benzos, while attempting...
Dude, it's pretty obvious to me that Keffals is like edgy and likes edgy stuff. But Keffals has to like pander to these like super soft, fragile, like lefty progressive people. And so Keffals has to like act like, oh, like it was so bad that I said retard. But obviously Keffals doesn't give a fuck. Keffals, I feel like in another timeline, Keffals would love Kiwi Farms. Keffals would love it because they're just edgelords. Like, and Keffals is an edgelord.
attempting to buy H on the dark web.
Started doing coke and meth and
Oops.
benzos, and I was planning on ordering him from the dark net.
After the backlash,
Wait, why do you have
Clara
to? Why did he censor the word? Sometimes the censoring decisions make no sense to me. Like, why didn't he censor meth if he censored heroin?
went into rehab on February 22nd.
Oh, maybe it's in like the demonetized word list or something. But that list isn't even like kept up anymore.
In the next few days, I will be admitted to rehab. The doctor said that because of the drugs I'm addicted to, without medical supervision, detoxing will kill me. Now, I'm inclined to believe her on this, given that she didn't return until about a month later. Clara later admitted that she spent more money going to rehab than she ever had on actual drugs.
I was in rehab for 34 days before I discharged. I went to the addiction rehabilitation Toronto facility, and it was one of the best decisions I think I've ever made.
While Addiction Rehab Toronto doesn't have prices listed on their sites, aggregators like recovery.com price a 30-day stay at the facility at 20,000 Canadian dollars. And that is a fourth of the entire dollar amount. It's hard to believe that expense, on top of buying enough drugs to end up there in the first place, had no bearing on how that GoFundMe money was used.
That's true. Although I don't know, I guess I wouldn't speak for like all of the people who donated to the GoFundMe, but I feel like if that were me, I would be okay with the rehab part of it. Like that's like sort of a worthwhile expense for someone. Because like the problem is the rehab is almost like preventative medicine for like doing more drugs or something. Possibly, I guess it depends on the person, but if it prevented her from spending the whole 100K on cocaine, then I guess I would still consider that a good thing.
One of her mods admitted the habit went
But I don't know. At the same time, it's still like that's not what the money was for. So I don't know.
Into the fun money at the end. However much a bit is, we might never know. Her relapse began right as she was supposed to initiate legal action, that by her own admission hadn't even started. Remember, she was apparently collecting evidence to beat the statute of limitations. And after a vacation across Europe, new stream equipment, TwitchCon, hiring a private firm, security firm, and private investigator, consulting lawyers about kiwi farms, and paying an entire year's worth of rent because fuck it, why not? She spiraled, necessitating a month-long stay at a rehab facility that cost approximately 20K USD. Sorry, hold on a minute. I'm having a little brain fart. Canadian dollars, okay? Big difference. With the latter beginning in the exact time frame she claimed to finally take action against London police. Now, of course, there is one last hope for the GoFundMe money going towards anything vaguely resembling those initial stated goals. In April of 2024, Keffals' lawyer, Justin Anisman, filed a complaint against London Police Services with the Canadian Human Rights Tribune. The application hereby argues she is the victim of discrimination by London Police Services, referred to henceforth as LPS. Now, of the 5 examples given, 3 of them discuss her dead name being used in their records. This is true, and acknowledged by London Police in their first statement. The complaint further alleges LPS officers used her dead name and gender. During the arrest, this cannot be proven as no body cam footage exists. In a private conversation, she explained...
At the time of arrest, one officer pressed her hand against Mrs. Sorrenti's breast and said, "Yep, it's a she." That's really funny. Why is that so funny to me? It's just fucking groping her. Dude, did this happen? This really happen? Why would this ever happen? This would be inappropriate, like, even for like a female cop to do, right? This would be an inappropriate thing. I highly doubt that this happened.
body
Yep, it's a she, confirmed.
cams was one of her main goals. If I could get one thing from all of this, it would be body cams.
Seems like a W all around. Wait, WMSDMs. Cops have good lawyers. If I can get one thing from all this, it would be body cams. There's no video evidence except while I was in custody. I think the rumor mill was way worse than it should have been because of that.
Since the police
Yeah, I don't buy that either. That honestly like seems like a joke. Like it doesn't even
didn't
seem
even
real.
have them in my hometown. There is no evidence where she is well aware of, hence why her last point is actually kind of bizarre. The complaint introduces an entirely new accusation and has somehow gone unmentioned so far. Clara alleges that an officer groped her breast and said, "Yeah, it's a she." The fact that we haven't heard about this before is insane. It completely changes.
True. Why would you not mention that? That's like, I feel like that's more interesting than the misgendering shit. If Keffals went at the very start, Keffals 100%, if this happened, would have said this. She would have talked about this 100%. I find it hard to believe that a police officer groped her and then went, "Well, doesn't feel like a Lucas to me." True.
The narrative. This realistically should have been her leading story.
Wait a minute. This isn't a guy. Grope.
It's also at gunpoint, apparently. If true, the interaction recontextualizes every claim of dead naming. It also makes her behavior afterward much stranger, given that she seemed to forgive LPS in favor of pursuing action against Kiwi Farms.
Lawyers. Yeah, that's all I said. I
Keffals
never.
is just one of the most inconsistent people when it comes to like the story, and like it doesn't even seem like Keffals knows exactly what she's going after. Like it was Kiwi Farms, and then it was the London police like services, and now it's just like some vague idea of like these wrongs that were committed against her during the time of Drop Kiwi Farms. And that's like the whole thing. It's like this idea of like all of these wrongs were committed against me, and she doesn't really know which one to go after that would make her look best. That's what it feels like.
Said that I was going to sue the police. I've basically had to make peace with it. Like, after it first happened, I was very mad at the police.
Like, I think probably my guess is like she decided to try to consult about suing Kiwi Farms because people pushed back against the police stuff. Like, people were like, well, no, the police were not really mistreating you whatsoever. And then Keffals like sees that feedback, and she's like, oh, well, you know, I'm getting negative, you know, people don't believe the police thing. So then she's like, well, what if I sue Kiwi Farms? Remember the Drop Kiwi Farms thing? Everyone supported me back then. So yeah. I just wish Keffals would stop lying and become a leftist edgelord. Yeah, like I just want this person to be like genuine. I feel like I still probably wouldn't like Keffals at all, but I would appreciate the realness more than anything else, I guess.
And I wanted to hold their feet to the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them. But they've taken the threat against my life very seriously, and I want to see justice.
Now, this is in stark contrast to the reduced feelings and security described by Clara as a result of her inability to trust LPS. This impacted her ability to earn a living. In the 6 months since the events at issue in this application, Ms. Sorrenti has seen a reduction in income of more than 25%. That document further alleges that their treatment of Clara left her unable to leave her home. By the way of example, she feels incapable of leaving her home or socializing productively with friends and family out in the community because of a fear that LPS will continue to discriminate against her. This is patently untrue, given that the time frame is when she traveled across the world. It also doesn't make any sense to blame London police for that reduced income. And it only gets crazier when you realize the complaint seeks $125,000 in damages.
What?
Accordingly, the applicant seeks the following remedies: a declaration that the LPS discriminated against the applicant contrary to Section 1 of the Code. In order for damages of the injury to applicant's dignity, feelings, and self-respect in the total
punitive damages? What is this?
of 70, the injury to applicant Section 1 of the Code. In order for
Human Rights Tribunal with broad discretion to order pecuniary and non-monetary damages against a party who has infringed a right under Part 1 of the Human Rights Code. So yeah, basically punitive damages and non-monetary damages. What are non-monetary damages?
Of the injury to applicant's dignity, feelings, and self-respect in the total
I'll ask
amount of
ChatGPT.
$75,000, and in order that LPS compensate the applicant for the loss of income suffered and other special damages incurred as a result of the discriminatory plus interest therein in the amount of $50,000. Now, I can't claim to know the intricacies behind the actual lawsuit over here and the Human Rights Tribunal. To be honest,
Non-monetary damages refer to compensation awarded in a lawsuit for losses that are not easily quantifiable in financial terms. Oh, so it's like punitive damages, right? Include things like pain and suffering, emotional distress, loss of enjoyment of life, and loss of consortium. Okay, interesting. Just intangible harm, basically.
I've tried researching this and I've called around as much as I can, but obviously information on a case, if it's pending and ongoing, isn't going to be shared, nor is a status really something to be handed out about. But at the end of the day, I'm not a lawyer, so me digging into this isn't necessarily going to do much more than you would expect. But that being said, okay, with all of this brought up, this is, I guess, the only last Hail Mary that we have. And if you ask Keffals, the reason they decided to go with the Human Rights Tribunal.
One thing that I don't know about this video yet is I forget if he goes into the Catboy Ranch stuff, because I'm interested in that, because his original tweet, like, that he put out talking about how he was going to go after, he was going to make a video on Keffals, was like, we've uncovered like some really like horrible stuff from the Catboy Ranch. And I remember like looking into the Catboy Ranch stuff on Kiwi Farms, and I feel like it was like not the best like, it wasn't the best thing to use against Keffals, because it was just stuff that was going on in the server, sort of unrelated to Keffals. There were like a few little slip ups on Twitter where Keffals was like flirting with someone who then ended up being underage. But then I think I remember Keffals just like backed off after that, and like Keffals is not like a predator or anything, from what I can tell. But I'm curious to see if he brings that up, because there might be stuff that I don't know. So let's see.
Rather than a lawsuit is because the Human Rights Tribunal has unique powers that a civil suit does not. In Canada, if they were simply to do a lawsuit, all they would get is money. They are apparently pushing for police body cams, which is the complete goal right there. And papers have been processed, and they are awaiting dates to appear in the tribunal. And I'm told this could take a minimum of 2 years at best, and 6 years at worst, depending on if this gets escalated to a higher judicial body. So again, I'm not an expert at the HRTO.
So I forgot. This is against the police still, right? The Human Rights Tribunal thing was related to the police, I'm pretty sure.
And this section might be pending. And because Keffals is, I guess, quiet these days, I'm blocked, so I wouldn't really know. There might be updates to this, there might not be, okay? But to end this section off, to recap...
Just make an alt, Muta. Why would he not just make an alt?
Keffals deliberately tried to raise as much money as possible. None of her reasons make any sense. She didn't need to move and used the money for a vacation in Europe, it seems. She didn't just use the fund for moving expenses, but a full year's worth of rent, something she never said she was gonna do. And as far as we can tell, she had no tangible losses. All of her possessions were returned within days, and the legal fund was for a nebulous lawsuit that has changed target.
Exactly. That was my point earlier, is like, it's pretty unheard of, especially here in the US. Like, if all your electronics were seized to like search through them, it could be a long time before you get that back. Like, if I got my computer like confiscated, taken away by the cops, like, it would probably take them like 6 months, I would guess, because their processes are just so slow. So the fact that they, out of courtesy, expedited the process for her, just shows how, like, considerate that police department is.
Targets twice. The closest we saw to any actual legal action was that HRTO complaint, which doesn't even require a lawyer and is completely free. It's unlikely to go anywhere since she apparently has no evidence, no credibility, and seemingly no actual legal standing. Okay, so now that we've covered the swatting and her GoFundMe, let's talk about her campaign to drop Kiwi Farms. An important thing to recognize is that this is a public discussion forum. You can see what people are saying, and that also means it's difficult to prove something was their fault if they didn't brag about it on the site. To be clear, they're not innocent whatsoever. They're not entirely innocent. They collect and organize personal information, and I would never argue that they don't harass people. We can prove Kiwi Farms users doxed her old house and one of the hotel rooms. However, they weren't the main culprit. There is a completely different site that actually took credit for the harassment that veered into actual criminality. For the sake of not promoting it, we're going to be referring to this website as Website Zero. Like others,
I like how everyone just takes Destiny's name for this site, Website Zero.
Have before who've covered this topic. If you've read the thread closely, you'll discover Kiwi Farms users don't find out about the swatting until after her GoFundMe. On August 21st, Clara's Uber Eats account was hacked and she blamed Kiwi Farms. The next day, a post was made on Website Zero taking credit.
Yeah, so on this website, they also have like passwords and stuff. I mean, it's not that that's against the rules of Kiwi Farms, but I feel like they're much more malicious on this site.
A receipt for the order as part of the docs. This post also included phone numbers, accounts, addresses, emails, and passwords belonging to Sorrenti, as well as many of her family members. The doc stayed pinned from the date it was created until September the 4th. It was being worked on publicly since March 28th, and with users actively calling for others to track her down. Despite this, Clara continued to blame Kiwi Farms instead for hacking her account, her Uber account, even directly calling for Cloudflare to halt services in response to the hack. From here, she makes a decision to move to Northern Ireland to flee online harassment. And it's important to know that Kiwi Farms was down from August 26th to August 29th. Website Zero identified her location on August 26th thanks to that door knock.
On that site, yeah, they have SSN, they have social security numbers on Kiwi Farms too sometimes.
Keffals blamed the Kiwi Farms, calling them out by name on the 29th.
The first time I saw a social security number on Kiwi Farms, I was like taken aback. I was like, wait, this is also legal to post? But apparently, yeah, it's just publicly accessible information.
A Kiwi Farms.
I have no idea how, because social security numbers can be used to like do identity theft and stuff. Like my mom always taught me, like, don't ever like put your social and stuff if you don't need to, because like people can steal your identity, and it really sucks when that happens. So I do actually feel bad for people who have their SSNs posted on Kiwi Farms or whatever. That does suck.
User had identified her location and threatened to show up. She claimed to have identified the user and forwarded their information to the police. And this is true. If this is true, there's no reason for her to believe this individual had any association with Kiwi Farms. The user had been very active across 4chan and the rest of the internet on a variety of...
Muta, what is this shirt that you're wearing? Why are you wearing this? What is this?
...of easily identifiable accounts. And they've also explicitly stated that they had no connection with Kiwi Farms.
I hate that that's legal or publicly available. Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like the SSN thing is like kind of crazy, but yeah. I don't feel bad for the far right people it's happened to. I feel bad for literally everyone that it's happened to.
Already knew that this person was from 4chan, even showing the original threads in one of her tweets. When we spoke about his plan beforehand, he left comments on Website Zero, and Website Zero was never mentioned once in her account. Clara later claimed that this resulted in another swatting, stating the same thing repeated itself, except Northern Irish police did not put a firearm.
Yeah, it is an AliExpress ass shirt.
Did not pull a gun on her. Apparently the police were called to investigate a made-up stabbing. She noted they were very friendly.
This followed me. I leave Canada. Now I'm in Northern Ireland. The same
Dude, this person scares me. I don't know why.
thing repeated itself.
Yep.
Except Northern Irish police did not pull a firearm on me. So that's cool. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, no, like someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers and they were knocking at the door. Like, compared to what happened in Canada when I got like an assault rifle pointed at me, that's nothing. Cops are playing with the cat here.
That's interesting that the Canadians are also so militarized, the police there. I didn't realize.
Police were calm during
Fucking H3.
this incident because Keffals was not swatted. It was
Dude, H3 in this interview, one of the funniest things was like he's so unintentionally like he's literally trying to give Keffals a really easy interview, and Keffals like fucks it up so bad. Like she keeps like running into like landmines essentially, like and he just has these little comments that are so funny, like, oh, I didn't realize that Canada's police force was so militarized, and it almost comes across as like a passive aggressive like comment, like, oh yeah, right, yeah, they're not fucking militarized, but he didn't mean it like that, obviously. It's just funny the way it comes across.
Wellness check from someone afraid she was in danger. The person who contacted police reached out to Destiny to explain they were worried about a stalker. They specifically refute the idea they called in a stabbing. On the H3H3 podcast, Keffals stated that the swatting had mentioned a stabbing, but that there were no guns when they visited. This link shows the armed response unit, which is deployed for when someone reports a stabbing in an active situation. There's a picture there that shows a dynamic entry. Someone with Ellen's background wouldn't realize that Northern Ireland does actually have a history of armed violence, and the PSNI response to what that violence is equivalent to the United States of America. The evidence strongly supports that the story Keffals gave on the H3H3 podcast about being swatted here is utter horseshit. And if you recall, law enforcement began actively investigating the people harassing her. As it turns out, they actually caught them. The harassment was largely perpetrated by a now defunct group on Website Zero known as Vile. Vile doxed several people related to #DropKiwiFarms, including Keffals and the owner of the DIY HRT directory. This is easily proven as their signature is present in the...
That's really funny. Dude, what is with the ASCII art in I don't know what's the word for it, like illegal or not this isn't illegal obviously, but like sketchy like sites. Like I notice in like a lot of torrents when you download like a game or something, the hacker group that like cracked the game is like always has like an ASCII logo in the fucking readme.
Paste themselves. Some of their known techniques include using
Yeah, they literally
fake
say we're not associated with Kiwi Farms at all.
emergency data requests to impersonate government officials. They also use stolen passwords from law enforcement officers to subpoena companies into sharing private information. That info was then used for extortion. This criminal activity is only known because 2 members were arrested and charged in March of 2023. Now, while the group is defunct, as demonstrably law enforcement did their job, the important distinction here, though, is what Vile did was criminal. There is legal recourse for extortion. Amongst the many crimes they committed, Kiwi Farms, on the other hand,
Wait, so
is
yeah, why
still
doesn't Keffals just go after this group then? What the
entirely
hell?
legal, which is why she has to poison the well against them. Her motivations are especially curious given this DM from August 4th, a day before her swatting, where she flatly stated
It's a site filled with old porn of me and my dead name and photos of me when I was 15, 16 before I started my transition. It's a place people go to get information used to harass me. Once I realized his chat was brigaded by Kiwi Farms users in order to ratchet up the conflict, I realized he was being manipulated, and so was I. Is she talking about Destiny here? I just kind of want to take down... Oh, Hunter. Hunter Avalone? Is that...
she didn't want to talk about Kiwi Farms anymore. Later on, Clara admitted she targeted the site not because she was in fear of her life, but because it was opportune timing.
All of us are here talking about like website X. We're all talking about how bad it is, how it's like a secret, how we don't speak the name of it, but everyone knows it and everyone's worried about it. And it's like, it sounds like the perfect website for a campaign for them to get dropped by their fucking service provider. Like, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's like,
I don't think the momentum is there for that though. Like with the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign, it was just really opportune timing. I had all this media attention on me, and journalists were like following every fucking thing I said and did.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know about the second website until they went after me.
Yeah, but when you describe it as like a worse version of the same website, but whoa, please don't talk about it. That's crazy.
Well, it's like
it's so hypocritical, like that she thinks that advertising or like talking about this website. I keep almost saying the fucking name of the website. I don't even think it would be necessarily wrong to say, but I don't really want to, like, I don't know. She keeps talking about this website and saying things like, you know, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to mention it because, like, I don't want to promote like the actual like doxing or harassment that is happening. But then she's attributing it to Kiwi Farms instead. So it's like, well, why? So if you think all the harassment and doxing is coming strictly from Kiwi Farms, then why are you talking about Kiwi Farms? Because your logic applied to that situation means you shouldn't talk about Kiwi Farms either. And honestly, if she didn't talk about Kiwi Farms, it would have just probably gone away. Hunter Avalone is based. All I know about him is I know that he used to be like more conservative, and now he's like more liberal. And then I know about the situation that happened where like his girlfriend that he was living with, the ex, like came over and like tried to shoot them. That was crazy. I watched those on stream. Like, obviously there's no actual footage, but there's like audio of it.
Feeling that
That was honestly insane.
Site exists embodying the very thing she accuses Kiwi Farms of doing, her reaction is completely different. While it's reasonable to not want others
The part where you hear like the fucking the cops like shooting the guy when they get there, it's crazy.
to find it, that doesn't justify blaming Kiwi Farms for the actions of another separate community. It's her refusal to acknowledge the actions of Website Zero as the actions of Website Zero that necessitates its mention. When asked, she fails to address this in a satisfying way.
Question, Keffals, to you. So basically, if there's another website that's doing things as malicious or more malicious than the Kiwi Farms post, I'm wondering, like, why not draw attention to that website in particular if they seem to be more inherently dangerous?
I don't think they're more
Exactly.
inherently dangerous. They also don't have as many active users because the people who, on the other side, the people who do it, they're more technically skilled in what they do. But also because they had more extensive documentation of my family, and I didn't want to put that out there.
So why? That's great. So you would be okay with promoting a site inadvertently that has more of your own info and documented like your, as you say, like revenge porn and stuff, or not revenge porn, but porn that you did in the past, and like personal info, pictures of you before your transition or whatever. You're okay with promoting that in the same way, but not the one that has your family members? Why?
I think that's
You're okay with drawing more attention to your info through that?
reasonable, right? Like, I don't want my family to get hurt.
Sure, if you don't want your family to get hurt, that's fine. But the opposite of what you're saying right now was your justification as to why you have to go after Kiwi Farms. Like, this place is doxing you. This person's posting tons of your information.
Why do you
It's
defend
stalking
Kiwi
you to
Farms so
multiple.
much? I think
It makes you wonder if she wasn't willing to go after
Why
the
do you
site
defend Kiwi Farms so much? Is that really defending Kiwi Farms?
because she was actually afraid. Why did she
It's just a hypocrisy. Like, it just makes sense.
target Kiwi Farms in the first place? Why continuously lie about the site being down to your followers? Why accuse anyone with genuine criticism of you as having used the site? Is there something that she was trying to hide? So 47 minutes in, you probably know that I have to address the big
Yes,
massive
dude.
elephant
Yes.
in the room, okay? Horton hears a who, boyos. The reason for
We still got 30 minutes left in the video. Hell yeah.
this is because I don't even think we can begin to have this conversation without showing now definitively that Keffals, as a narrator, cannot be trusted. The conversation surrounding the subject has been intentionally warped and obfuscated, and even questioning it will get you labeled a transphobe, okay? And I'm not a transphobe, I'm bringing this up, okay? This is very, this is a minefield I'm walking in, okay? When we talk about the harassment from Kiwi Farms, it can't be understated that they are transphobic. It's true. There is truth to the idea they'll call just about anyone a groomer just because that they're trans. However, this has allowed Keffals to absolve herself of responsibility of her own actions and pretend as if there's nothing she has personally done for people
Yeah.
to distrust her character. Not only that, but she'll discredit any criticism by
It's the same thing that I was talking about earlier. It's like if you get people to rally behind you for like a cause, like they will ignore, or they can be misled very easily about your negative traits because they believe that like everything is justified if it's for their cause. It's like that classic Keffals tweet of my enemies are like ontologically evil and everything that I do against them is justified. It's that mentality
associating
that
it with
shields
Kiwi
people like Keffals from a lot of criticism.
Farms, the big bad farms. At the end of the day, if documentation exists, then regardless of that source, it speaks for itself. Keffals will hide behind her identity as a shield, accusing anyone who brings up her genuinely questionable behavior as pedo jacketing. In reality, this is little more than an excuse to avoid accountability. And it's finally time to talk about do it
I
yourself.
feel like the allegations is specifically about, okay, first the allegations about the DIY HRT directory are not necessarily that you are like I mean, there are people that think that grooming people into being trans, pink pilling or whatever, but that's different than like grooming, you know what I mean? But the allegations about that are more just that it's irresponsible and it's weird to like help children get controlled drugs that are supposed to be gotten through doctors. Additionally, some of these places like Otokonoko Pharma were not the safest like drugs. Like they had like contaminants in them and stuff. And some of the promotional materials used were very questionable, like all the little like anime girls and stuff. Very weird. And then the allegations with the Catboy Ranch Discord, from me at least, my criticisms of that are that some weird stuff did go on in the Discord, not directly because of Keffals, but it was probably would have been a good idea to be a little bit more on top of moderating it as the owner of the server, basically.
Self hormones.
But we'll see what Muta has to say about it, because he might know something I don't.
Catboy Ranch. In June of 2022, Clara began sponsoring the DIY HRT directory. For a myriad of reasons, hormone replacement therapy is often inaccessible to many trans people. The directory intends to teach people how to, quote unquote, safely obtain HRT without a prescription. While some are legitimate pharmaceutical-grade medications, simply imported from other countries, the site also offers a number of homebrew sources. They are colloquially referred to as bathtub estrogen, in reference to the actual practice of brewing your own HRT. This guide in particular is linked to Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, which is also listed on the directory. Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals is extremely controversial, for reasons that will become very self-apparent. The packaging is covered in sexualized depictions of young boys cross-dressing. Again, I have to blur this out because it is actually a violation of YouTube's
It's vile, dude. This packaging is disgusting.
or TOS, with text on the box that reads, "Keep out of reach of parents." It's disgusting and clearly falls under the category of shota or loli, which Keffals has given.
If you like loli, you like drawn child porn, which means you like child porn and you are a pedophile. This shouldn't be a controversial opinion. Interesting.
Her own opinion of in the past. It's already questionable to endorse one of
Didn't Keffals just get a bunch of criticism for like kind of defending Vosh's whole folder leak thing?
for effectively unregulated drugs. It's even worse to explicitly advocate for their use by minors. Keffals bragged about donating thousands of dollars a year to the site to help people get access to HRT before the age of 18. She said, "I do not give a single shit what you think. I am doing nothing wrong, nor will I ever back down."
Wasn't it further than just it was beyond just donating money to this resource? Wasn't Keffals like one of the main contributors to this resource, or were they just like backing the directory with money? Because I know Bob Posting was like the person running it, but Keffals I thought was involved with it in some way other than just giving them money.
The directory was even added as a link to her website, with an accompanying.
I think I've ever heard Keffals respond directly to any allegation or any question, really. It's usually just calling people transphobes or stupid or creepy or pussies. Yeah. It's just a like diversion tactic, I think.
Chat command. By then, she was marketing her community as a safe space for teenagers. As a former trans kid who is now a trans
I think Keffals
adult,
is very insecure that people have very valid criticisms against her. And I think she thinks that she could just sort of write those off in the same way that she can write off like things during the start of her career. Because the start of her, like when Keffals blew up was the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign, and basically everyone was just yes queening her into being able to do whatever she wants. So now she like can't do that anymore, and she's like, I don't know, she's still trying to use the same tactics, but they don't work anymore. So she's fallen out of
to all
public
the young
favor.
trans people who follow me, I love you. I care about you, and I will fight for you. We will win. There is hope for people like us in this world. They cannot and will not keep us down. I have no opposition to providing safe access to HRT for trans people who need them, right? That's just a thing. If doctors can come in and there's a way to safely do it 100%, get the proper.
Yeah, exactly. Redirection to a non-related topic. Exactly. She brings up like the Kiwi Farm stuff all the time too, even when it's not related to the conversation, to like remind people like, oh yeah, remember I was the person who took on Kiwi Farms. I was the brave soldier that destroyed and epically owned Kiwi Farms. But even that just doesn't work.
People involved, not me, not Keffals the activist. Both of us are clearly not doctors, sure. But it is dangerous to condone questionable individuals with shady histories like Keffals and deceitful messaging to illicitly offer these treatments online, especially to minors. The directory was created by an individual known as Bob Posting, or Chloe. Chloe and Clara have a long history of friendship together. Chloe thanked Keffals for her sponsorship and even got brought on stream to promote the site. She would reply to Clara on Twitter, 1,000 minors on HRT. Her association sparked
Yeah, I brought this up in my video too. 1,000 minors on HRT.
backlash after people began to notice her bizarre
It ramped up too. So like, Chloe posted a few times throughout the years from 2021 to 2022 about how many minors they got on HRT. So first it was like, oh, I've helped over 100, over 500, and like over 1,000. So you can sort of see the progression of and the popularity like increase of this Discord and how many kids that they were reaching out to and doing this stuff for behind the parents'
fixation
backs.
on secretly sending HRT to minors. I've unironically helped like a half a dozen minors acquire bathtub estrogen.
She also said like something about pink pilling. She's talking
No
about
one tell 'em.
pink pilling minors a few times. I think there was one in this screenshot here.
And to notice her bizarre fixation on secretly
Pink pilling minors is based if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. So if you don't know, pink pilling is the act of, yeah, I've unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors. Pink pilling is the act of convincing someone that they are transgender and pushing them towards being on medication and basically transitioning.
sending HRT to minors.
And by pink pill, I mean point them to HRT resources after they reach out. This is obviously like, first, at the very least, this is horrible PR, even if you're just joking. But like, if this is unironic, if this person thinks that they're pink pilling people, they shouldn't be in this position that they're in, where they're reaching out to kids and helping them get HRT and get on drugs. Like,
Minors. I've unironically helped like a half a dozen minors acquire bathtub estrogen. No one tell them I've helped more than one minor order. I don't groom children. I just show dozens of kids every week how to buy bathtub estrogen with crypto.
It's just so, dude, like, even if this is all jokes, it's just too real. Like, this is actually what you're doing, Bob posting.
Cryptocurrency and how to hide it from their parents. What are you talking about? The directory does, in fact, take cryptocurrency, and at one point even instructed minors on how to buy Bitcoin. If you're a minor, get a trusted adult to purchase Bitcoin for you, or go to your local BTC ATM. Chloe has also referenced minors in relation to an act known as pink pilling, the act of convincing someone that they are trans on multiple occasions. Pink pilling minors is based, actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors, and by pink pill, I mean point them to HRT resources after they reach out. So when this was brought to the public's attention, several changes.
It seems like people reached out to her. I still think that it's, yeah, still irresponsible. I still think that it's like it's weird, and I don't think any adults should be doing this at all. Like, even if people are reaching out to her, it's still on her to prevent, I don't know, because this whole thing is like it circumvents the medical system, it circumvents the parental dynamic and everything, and it's just like, it's just kind of weird. It just feels like it's not really this person's place to do this. Just using the word, yeah, convincing people they're trans. Well, yeah, even if that's true though, like, why would you say pink pilling? You know what I mean?
The site were made. They removed Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals and implemented a site-wide age warning. This seems to contradict their explicit advocacy for minors.
It just seems like if you're in charge of this resource, like using like the word pink pilling unironically is just horrible PR. It just makes like that whole thing look bad.
Site. 2 days later, Chloe announced she would no longer be involved in the directory. Keffals similarly distanced herself and her sponsorship vanished. She has tried to downplay her
Yeah, so after people started uncovering this stuff, Keffals, well, first of all, they realized that Destiny was archiving pages of the website for his manifesto. And then they basically started changing verbiage on the website. They added an age gate. They removed Otokonoko Pharma, and then they removed all of the verbiage that relates to minors. So they removed the part about if you're a minor, get a trusted adult to buy Bitcoin for you. If it circumvents the paradigm dynamic, that could be good. I don't know. I probably disagree with you about this Femios, but
Ever since. And this is what she had to say earlier this year when questioned about the directory. I gave a wiki site $500 a month and they put my website link in the banner. This was the extent of my involvement. I have never produced or distributed or even purchased DIY hormones. I didn't sell anything to trans minors and I wasn't involved in production or distribution. Clara didn't just endorse it, she was friends with the creator who openly gloated about pink pilling minors. She even joked about it with Clara on stream.
I
saw.
I wanted you on the stream because I have a lot of trans youth who watch the stream, so you gotta like chill your pink
I'll let you know. I would probably want to do some prep for that, honestly. But possibly.
pilling stuff.
Wow, I have the perfect resource for you. So, I am pretty well known for those who don't know. People know me for like being knowledgeable about DIY HRT and how to, access DIY HRT. And so I have the site, which people already sending a link in chat, is diyhrt.github.io. If the mods want to like plug that would be amazing. And
So while Chloe has since disappeared from the internet, there was actually a new development. It was discovered that shortly after retiring, she was convicted for robbing a bank in 2020. On February 14, 2020, on about 7:18 a.m., an individual wearing a surgical mask walked up to the counter at the Scotiabank branch located at and handed a note to a teller. It read, "This is a robbery."
Wait, did he mean to leave this in? That's funny. Wait, Mister. Uh-oh. Guys, I think Bob posting has more of a reason to to pursue legal action than Keffals. Oh my god. That's really funny. This person really did like rob a bank though. Holy
Not in
shit.
danger. Call the police 30 seconds after I leave the door. Give me all your money, no bug money.
This is so crazy. How did this happen? How the fuck did this happen?
The robber handed the teller a box. The teller placed cash in the box, and the robber then left the bank with the box of cash. The teller locked the door and told her manager what happened.
Yeah,
The
Mr.
police
Tong. That's pretty unfortunate for this person.
called. This individual is identified by police as Chloe. The teller placed a GPS tracker device hidden between four for $20.
So is this person
And when
is Bob posting like an undercover trans woman? Like do they or she, I guess, like not publicly like they're not publicly trans or something, but they're like just only online or something? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with this.
she discovered this, she tried to hide it.
I just don't know why Chloe wouldn't change like her name legally or whatever, or like identity.
Some snow. It was quickly found, reported to police, and they retrieved $5,190 in cash, and Chloe was convicted in 2023. Though currently her sentence is unclear, the Criminal Notebook, a free resource on Canadian criminal law, says the average sentence in Alberta for this exact type of crime is 4 years and possibly a fine. And while it's unclear who owns the directory now, it's still around to this day. In fact, they recently added back Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals. In fact, they even added back that filthy Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, clearly waiting for that public backlash to die down. Needless to say, everyone involved in this entire situation has exhibited suspicious behavior at best. So, one surprising development that actually kicked in while I'm sitting in my hotel room right now is apparently one of the actual pharmaceutical groups that was listed on the DIY HRT directory, vanapharma.com, which, by the way, ships domestically only within the United Kingdom, accepts cryptocurrency only, blah, 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 has actually been hit with a pretty bad letter in this regard. So for this is from the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency in the United Kingdom. And if we look closely over here, you can see that we investigate the criminal.
Yeah, this just happened recently. They pulled like a few different websites in the UK because they were selling these basically controlled drugs.
Products, and during one of our investigations, the following domain name has come to our attention: vanapharma.org. Internationally, every jurisdiction has its own law, blah, 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 blah. So what they actually were hit with over here, the violations, is Regulation 46, where a person may not sell or supply or offer to sell or supply a medicinal product otherwise than in accordance with the terms, okay? And of course, Regulation 214, which is a person may not sell or supply a prescription-only medicine except in accordance with a prescription given by an appropriate practitioner. And of course, Regulation 279, which is a person may not publish an advertisement for a medicinal product unless one of the following is in force of the product. So yeah, they got hit with something, and again, before anybody in their camp says whatever they were doing with the DIY HRT
Wait, what? Any human blood component? What? Oh, okay.
directory was legal. This
This is just talking about the regulations. You can't sell human blood components.
a clear example of how what they were doing was actually not, and it required governmental intervention. And this is a clear example of government regulation kicking in and proving that what they were doing wasn't exactly above board. And it's understandable why many would be dubious of their intentions.
They also say, I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to hormones. You are telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my god. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones.
Didn't they literally have a guide on the Otokonoko? I don't know if it was directly linked on the HRT directory website. I actually don't remember that. But on Otokonoko Pharma, that person who runs that site had a tutorial that was going around on how to brew them at home. And it was like very publicly known. Wait, am I remembering this correctly? I think Destiny found a URL under the HRT directory website that had a link to it, but it didn't have a clickable link to go to it. It was like a URL that you had to type in, and then they had this tutorial on how to make hormones.
I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
Keffals calls anyone who questions her.
They're also, the bathtub thing is like, it's not completely a lie or anything, because Chloe had posted about making hormones in the bathtub like a few times. There are also mentions of tubs, although tubs could also be like a scientific thing, like a water bath or something. Yeah.
Behavior, past or present.
So it's hard to say whether the actual process of brewing them in the bathtub is real, but there is a reason that people think that, because people refer to it as bathtub.
Accusing her critics of pedo-jacketing and groomer libel. When Ethan Klein called her out for defending Bosch's horse folder, she poisoned the well. You had me on your show and called me a hero for fighting against a far-right stalking forum that made multiple people themselves. Now you are...
The censors in this video are very not good. Like, do you see how, like,
fighting against a
he forgot to censor it here too.
That made multiple people themselves. Now you are using out-of-context clips sourced from the same website to attack people. What's truly disgusting about this is something like pedo-jacketing actually can be a real problem. It would be dishonest to act like baseless accusations of pedophilia against the LGBT community don't actually exist. But once again...
Yeah, I think that it's the same thing to me as, like, producing, like, drugs of any type. Like, I think that it shouldn't be illegal to have, like, a recipe for how to make certain drugs. Like, I think that if you prohibit people from like information, like you say, yeah, information should be free, even if it's, being used in this way. But
Clara uses all of this to avoid accountability for her own actions.
I think you just get into such bad territory when you start banning, like, information about how to produce certain things.
Clara, Keffals, your identity is not a shield from criticism, okay? Every time you do this, you actually throw the entire community you're supposed to be advocating for under the fucking bus. And that takes us to the tale of Catboy Ranch. For the longest time, Keffals used to block anyone who referenced
All right,
Catboy
before we get
Ranch.
into Catboy Ranch, I have to piss really bad, so hold on. That Keffals, I guess, had hooked up with, like, a few times. They had some sort of, like, sexual relationship. Keffals posts this completely fucking vile tweet thinking about that time Bob posting was chopping jalapenos and forgot to wash her hands and then started fingering me. Jesus fucking Christ. So Bob posting has a history even before the DIY HRT directory of assisting minors to get on hormone replacement therapy. Bob posting makes money from donations for basically helping minors get on DIY HRT. Bob posting has routinely bragged about the amount of minors that they have gotten on HRT. Here we have Bob posting talking about, I got 500 plus minors on HRT, not just 7. And then Destiny responds saying, Bob posting is an actual pedophile. Be careful, kids. Later on, Bob posting also refers to the fact that they got 1,000 minors on HRT. So this was clearly a significant amount of minors that they were proud of. Now, in my opinion, this is like some really weird thing to be parading around. It sort of feels like this DIY HRT directory and everything are like aimed at minors more than anyone else. Here we have Bob posting talking about pink pilling, which if you don't know, pink pilling is basically grooming someone into becoming trans or convincing them that they are trans. I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors. And by pink pill, I mean point them to HRT resources after they reach out. I can't do stuff that isn't prescription because I can't buy anything without my parents' consent. I mean, only if they find out. This shit just seems so fucking predatory and disgusting to me. Here's an earlier tweet. This one says, no one tell him I've helped more than one minor order. All right.
Mentioned in the letter that caused her initial swatting. But journalists declined.
Okay. This was the fucking letter. This fucking shit. I've had enough of you anti-transgenders being in positions of power and oppressing us. You finally broke me, you cisgendered transphobic fucks. When this is over, the entire city will remember my name. I've killed my transphobic mother, and today I will be going to City Hall and killing every cisgender person I see with a... what? With an illegally acquired gun or something? All I wanted to do was buy minors collars and make them call me mother, but you've pushed me too far. See you in hell. If this wasn't actually used as like a real life swatting thing, this fucking would be such a funny copy pasta.
Declined to include it.
Despite how like fucked up it is and how horrible it is for someone to do this, it's still just the absurdity of this message makes me laugh every time.
To justify why no one should look into it. When I was swatted, the swatters mentioned Catboy Ranch and giving children Catboy collars in an email where they impersonated me and said that they were going to shoot up City Hall. It was all Kiwi Farms misinformation. Now H3H3 fans are regurgitating it. The problem with this argument is that ultimately...
Isn't it not misinfo that... This is one of the problems, is like... Keffals will not admit the parts of the story that are true, which makes the entire thing look like so much worse, so much more guilty. Like, the Catboy Ranch collar thing was real, but, like, they were sending out collars to people. Now, I don't know if it was confirmed whether they sent out collars to minors or not. I doubt that they would have had, like, an age verification before they sent collars out, but the thing is, when you deny, like, no, we weren't sending any collars at all, you make all of the allegations look true, because then people find out that the collar thing is real, and then they're like, whoa, so it must be true that these people are grooming in this Discord, which I haven't really seen proof for.
The documentation speaks for itself. Nothing on Kiwi Farms should actually be taken at face value, which is why they find it so important to archive everything. That ensures that the original source exists and allows you to verify the information for yourself. With how much misinformation and perhaps disinformation has been spreading about what Catboy Ranch really is, it's about time we look at the facts and try to understand what it actually was. When I first mentioned the subject on Twitter, she posted a link to the supposed Discord in question.
Server's still up. I'm sorry getting the surgery has deprived you of being able to ride my dick. Yeah, I've come across disturbing... This was the tweet that I was talking about earlier. I've come across disturbing revelations of the Catboy Ranch. Can't go too into detail, but it's an insane...
Really is. It's about time we look at the facts and try to understand what it actually was. When I first mentioned...
Can't go too into detail, but it's an insane story and none of it is pleasant. Okay, let's see.
That
This is the part that I was most excited about, because this is all the supposedly new information that I haven't seen
Not
before.
the original Catboy Ranch server. In fact, it was created in response long after in June of 2023. The story of the actual Catboy Ranch server starts with a Twitter account she owned by the same name. It was created in 2020. The plan? To create a Twitter meme page directed at femboys so I can herd them all into my ranch. It was somewhat gimmicky with close ties to Vosh's community. Most of the posts were submissions made by either Clara, her friends, or people in her DMs. And the page was overtly sexual, and she did public calls for submissions and invitations. Like this tweet if you want to be added to the Catboy Ranch group chat. It was by
This stuff
any
just makes
metric
me
and
fucking cringe so hard. Even if there was no actual grooming going on, dude. This aesthetic, I don't know. I don't like
adult
like it.
space, with pornographic art posted on the account and used as the Discord banner. There are endless, and I mean endless, tweets that are very explicit in nature. For example, my biggest regret about getting bottom surgery is that I never had the chance to nut in a Catboy. I'm
Jesus
coming out as someone
Christ.
who likes to get their prostate slammed and or slamming someone else's prostate.
Oh my
I really
fucking
wish I
God.
was for Catboy until he starts crying right about now. The account reached 8,000 followers by early 2021. It was around this time her page got marked as being adults only. A recurring theme throughout her posts was the idea of ownership,
Jesus
which is when
fucking
things get really
Christ.
strange as we approach the Discord server. The Catboy Ranch Discord
I haven't
was
seen those
created in
tweets
December
before.
of 2020. Within
That's
3 weeks,
rough.
the server amassed over 650 members, partially because she promoted it under her viral tweets. While it doesn't appear any archives of the chat exist, what is public has raised a lot of eyebrows. At one point, Clara shared photos of 2 callers given to members of the Discord, clearly engaging in some form of roleplay. These individuals are adults, and I'm not alleging otherwise. My point is that it's clearly a space for adults, and minors should have been kept away as far as possible. Keffals has reiterated that the server has explicitly 18 plus and required photo ID to join.
Yeah, that was
However,
not
she also
true. There's just no way that like Keffals had the foresight to make that an 18 plus server. To be fair, I don't think that a lot of people would necessarily like think of that. I feel like a lot of people forget that there's like a lot of kids on the internet and that you have to be like more responsible with stuff like that, because sort of like what most people do is they just sort of assume everyone on the that they're interacting with anonymously is like the same as them. Like I always think of people as my age when I'm talking to people online, but the fact is it's not true, and you just have to be conscious of that. Now I don't think that this means that Keffals was doing anything like malicious by having the server. I think it was just like maybe a little bit irresponsible that it wasn't moderated better or more vetted.
stated that photo ID was only required for the not safe for work sections. These are 2 very contradicting statements. And ignoring the fact that she shouldn't have been interacting with minors on Twitter either, Win, also known as @FemGirlVR, was followed by Clara on both of her accounts. On September 28, 2021, Clara replied to Win calling her very cute. A month later, Win tweeted at Clara complaining she couldn't post nudes because she was 15. Then in November, Catboy Ranch replied to Win acknowledging her age. You are 15, your skull hasn't even fully developed. Win later proclaimed
Oh,
herself.
so this. Wait, is this the same person that I was thinking of? There was another person that Keffals interacted with, but I think their name was different. We'll find out. I think this person has come forward and said that they like recently after this video came out, they said that this was fine and they don't have a problem with anything that happened here. So just keep that in
proud
mind.
member of the cult of Keffals. I just can't get over how much hope you give me. I should be able to start HRT before I'm 16 or once I'm 16. So just knowing that there's the potential I could pass like you does give me hope to keep going. Thank you. Maya, or Femboy Mats, is another minor Clara interacted with on Twitter. Maya claimed to have been a member of the Catboy Ranch Discord whilst
This was okay. This is the person that I'm thinking of, but I don't know if this is the person that just talked about this on Twitter recently. So you were still a minor in Catboy Ranch, which had ID verification. Only the not safe for work sections did.
Maya said, "Hey, I'm the person involved. There was
I think the thing is like even if it's not explicitly like porn, I think that it's pretty obvious that like a Catboy themed server has like sexual undertones, right?
no grooming. Someone replied, "Who said there was? You were still a minor in Catboy Ranch, which had ID verification." Maya then confirms that only the NSFW sections did. Maya was 16 years old when she began interacting with keffals. 5 days after she turned 17, Clara replied to her selfie with a meme. "Damn ya ass fat, what's your pronoun?"
Oh no, this is the
Clara
one I
later
know.
tweeted
Yeah.
a meme at Maya about taking estrogen and getting erections. In one thread,
Oh,
Catboy
man.
Ranch interacts with both Maya and Princess Emily, who was 15 years old. Now, these are highly inappropriate interactions for someone to engage in on their adults only account at the age of 27. And this is only what we're able to see publicly. It's also worth noting Maya has since argued in favor of underage people lying about their age.
I feel like I would never like flirt with anonymous people online. I feel like that would be so weird. Like even if I knew they were like adults, I don't get why people do this.
With people online. Maya turned 18th in January of 2022 and made an NSFW account to post nudes 3 months later. Now, this is where the story gets even darker because we have to look at Maya's interaction with another user named Danny. Username is Synth is here. Danny publicly bragged about getting Maya on DIY HRT when she
Oh shit. Oh
was a
god.
minor. About to start bragging that I got Maya on HRT when she was a minor, Maya began ordering from Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals.
Oh no. Oh no, this person got the meme one.
After turning 17. I'm about to take the pink pill, still cis though. This all was with assistance from the DIY HRT directory. A year later, she was so unhappy with her results, she actually called out and blocked Chloe on Twitter.
Whoa.
What happened? She got pissed about her hormone results? I mean, that wouldn't be Chloe's fault because that's not something she can control. Everyone reacts differently to that stuff. Also, there's different dosages. The two would end up having an argument about the
Interesting.
specifics of HRT.
So that should sort of speak to, in my opinion, a little bit about like how if this stuff is going to be going on, it should be more through like legal means. Like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, but I feel like this would be safer. It would be for a kid to go to like the government or something and then go get it through there so that it's like actually still like a medical process. Now obviously I probably personally wouldn't want kids to be able to do that. But I don't know, just the fact that it's all like under the table, through the mail, through Bitcoin, it's just weird. It's like you have, first of all, you have no like quality control when it comes to like FDA like regulations on like drug safety and stuff. I mean, obviously this estrogen had cat hairs in it, like literally the same stuff that this person was taking. But yeah, there's just no quality control. You don't really know what you're getting because the average person doesn't have lab testing equipment to go and like test these drugs that they're injecting into their body, by the way, injecting. So yeah, somehow my estrogen dipped by 60 points and my test went up to 700. Fuck DIY, fuck all of this. My regimen didn't change since my last test, so I'm done with listening to these quacks online who pretend they're better than an actual doctor.
Chloe calls Maya an idiot, and Maya says,
And I think like a lot of the messaging around this stuff is like it's like a perfectly safe alternative to just going to the doctor. It's like, oh, it's totally fine. Like obviously people would only resort to this if they felt like they couldn't go to a doctor, but I think there are a certain amount of people who would find this easier and less like they don't want to go through it publicly or whatever, so then they resort to like getting it online or whatever. And that just opens up a lot of like room for error, I feel like.
this, fuck DIY, fuck all of this. I don't know how this happened.
Oh my, you fucking idiot. You're on bicalamitide. That means it's working well. You just need to change your e-dose schedule depending on your method of administration. I had 1.3k total T on Bica and it's expected. You should probably explain how Bica works when saying it's okay that T is high. Bica blocks T receptors rather than T production. Your body produces even more T to try to compensate, but you become immune to it. Is that okay? I feel like doesn't testosterone have like physical like side effects? And both estrogen and testosterone have like physical side effects when they're in too high of concentrations, right? So if you just can't feel the testosterone affecting you and then your body produces more to compensate, is is that okay for people to do? That feels
Regimen didn't change since my last test. I am so done with listening to these quacks online who pretend that they're better than actual doctors.
I'm not even a DIY person. I just think you should probably go informed consent now that you are age of majority if that's available to you. My only point was unpacking what Chloe was saying. In other words, you ignore you LARP doctors. Yes, I agree.
As Maya herself stated, these people are not doctors. And someone like Chloe should not be allowed to posture herself as some kind of authority on the subject. No one without any proper credentials should. Not me, not Chloe, not Keffals, not anyone. Maybe it would be less of an issue if everyone involved in the situation was a legal adult. But as we've demonstrated in the last 5 minutes, they are not. Clara explicitly advocated for the DIY HRT's directory's use by minors, while clearly aware of her friend's activities, behaviors, and history. That only compounded by her constant lies surrounding Catboy Ranch, when even what we can prove already paints an incredibly unsavory picture. There is simply no good justification for why Keffals, while being overtly sexual, was interacting with and befriending underaged fans.
And the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Because
this is what I was talking about. Keffals was just acting like there was nothing. Like there was nothing going on except for the Twitch streams. There's no Discord. There's no private chats. There's no DMs.
It sounds like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
Wow, that's interesting.
Why would you lie about this? Like, doesn't this just make, like, if Keffals knows that there's nothing bad going on in this Discord, why wouldn't you just say that? Yeah, I have a Discord. It's all public. You know, people can go in there, people can talk to each other, and I have moderators that keep it safe or whatever. That would have been a totally fine response. But by saying no, I don't have any private chats at all. It's just my Twitch chat. It just makes you look so guilty. I just don't get it. Like Keffals intentionally like causes a lot of her own problems.
They really are just straight up lying, huh?
Now, there's a lot of...
They're really just, wow, so many people say that. That's so weird. They're just like completely lying about everything that they say that's against you, huh?
Misinformation surrounding Catboy Ranch, including the circulation of several alleged screenshots. And to be clear, these aren't from a server Clara owned, but an acquaintance named Femboy Cooking. Femboy Cooking is infamous for saying this: "It's not a choice. We are not asking you. We are telling you we will turn your kid gay." On June 23, 2021, a Twitter thread was made exposing Femboy Cooking's Discord server. A user named Sorrel called it an outright den of grooming. The server had roles to identify both adults and minors.
Wait, so these screenshots weren't from Catboy Ranch? Okay.
And in spite of this, he caught an adult openly flirting with a 13-year-old and calling them a cute little bottom.
I need to go back because I need to double check this, because if this is true, if these are not from Catboy Ranch itself, then I'm going to make a correction in my video, because I did say that these were from Catboy Ranch.
Catboy. When confronted, admins defended the server's practice of allowing underage users. Why would we bar minors from the server on the off chance that they'll be groomed? How if they've been taking... how if they have been talking about having with men...
I need to open my door for my dog.
You can show me where, but your sexuality is a part of you. There's nothing wrong with it. You're kind of the one introducing the adult-oriented element. It's kind of weird. Keffals admits that she was in this server and called the screenshots disgusting. I have absolutely...
So Keffals was in the server, but this wasn't Catboy Ranch.
Absolutely nothing to do with that Discord, and I think that is disgusting. I'll warn people about the Discord. Someone replied, "By that you mean you'll leave the Discord?" And she said, "Already did. I wasn't aware or active about any of this until now." Bruh, I was joking. I didn't know you were a part of it. That changed after the person who made the call out got suspended. Clara
Bruh, I was
celebrated the
joking. Fucking accidentally admitting guilt. Holy
thread's
shit.
deletion, even though she admitted it had evidence of an adult flirting with a minor. Those are her own words. A just wrote an entire thread seething about me from behind a block and tried to get his followers to dogpile my tweet, and then got suspended. People combed through Femboy's cooking Discord and discovered an adult flirting with a minor, and decided that I am somehow guilty of this. Once again, suspended. This is stunning admission that she helped cover up an adult flirting with a 13-year-old for her own convenience. And there's
What?
also no
Wait, so the mass reporting was like to cover it up? Wait,
proof that the person who made that for her,
am I retarded?
I am somehow guilty of this.
People combed through Femboy Cooking's Discord and discovered an adult flirting with a minor and decided that I am somehow guilty of this. And then one of Dimitri Monroe's friends started writing an entire thread about me and then got suspended.
Once again, suspended. This is stunning admission that she
The people who are the most vocal anti-lolly are usually scapegoating in order to distract from the skeletons in their own closet. Once again, suspended. Get fucked.
helped cover up an adult flirting with a 13-year-old for her own convenience. And there's
Weird.
also no proof that the person who made that thread is a P word. Early into Drop Kiwi Farms, Clara promoted an artist named ZR Kalo. Kalo is known for running the account Transphobes Posting Their L's. She faced backlash for knowingly associating with actual zoophiles, including a
Oh
moderator
my
on
god.
at Transphobic L's. She also is known for drawing what would some
Classic.
describe as necrozoophile art.
Oh my
Keffals defended
god.
her purely on the basis that she had a thread on Kiwi Farms.
Oh my fucking god.
But the thing is, like, I know they lie about literally everyone, so why would I believe their claims? Like, they're calling Zerkalo a necrozoophile, and it's like, they call everyone everything.
But if they literally make art of necrozoophilia and there's proof of it on Kiwi Farms, that's like impossible to deny. What?
Nothing they say is truthful. I have no
Nothing
reason-
they say is truthful? I feel like the biggest thing that you could argue is that sometimes like Kiwi farmers, like they have all the receipts and they have all the evidence. Sometimes they can jump to conclusions that are incorrect from the evidence. But that doesn't mean that, like, again, like the evidence is inadmissible. Like you have to look at a Kiwi Farms thread through the lens of like, okay, let me see what is actually going on here. Look at the evidence and come to your own conclusions. And obviously, a lot of the time they are right about things, but it's not like they're constantly lying. They're definitely not constantly lying about everyone. They literally have screenshots and like records of stuff.
reason to believe that. You do furry gore? Look, I personally think that that's kind of weird. However, I don't think you did anything wrong. I can just choose not to look at the part of the internet where people post things like that.
But you're missing the
long as-
point. The point is that if they drew dead animal fucking, then they're a dead animal fucker. Like, or they are like they're into that. You know what I mean?
No one's getting hurt. I do not care.
Then she calls out every person with
She
the
just said that she doesn't believe that they're a like dead animal fucker. But then was like, well, I don't care.
thread on the site
I don't care. Let me just well, wait, but they are a dead animal fucker? Well, it doesn't matter. It's not hurting anyone.
to band together. It's probably a good time to bring up that Kiwi Farms has actually put criminals in jail. Put actual criminals there. Most recently, putting a prolific animal abuser behind bars. I'm not saying every user or thread is virtuous. Even if you hate the site, you gotta admit, some people deserve to have their actions exposed. Keffals' campaign eventually took her to Chris Chan, who she brought on for an interview right after Chris got out of jail for allegedly having relations with their mom. Hilariously, she had to keep up the lie that Kiwi Farms was still down, a lie she maintained for years. At this point, I need to pose the question, what goddamn moral high ground does Keffals have over Kiwi Farms? It isn't doxing. She paid money to dox her critics, as well as innocent members of their family. It can't be cyberstalking. She got ousted from her own community for trying to gather dirt.
Yeah, I remember that. She tried to turn her own subreddit into Kiwi Farms.
on who she
I
called
guarantee Keffals has been on Kiwi Farms to find dirt on people before. I just know that's true.
a prototypical lol cow. It can't be some belief of criminality. The whole point of getting
Keffals calling other people lol cows.
Cloudflare to drop Kiwi Farms is making them susceptible to illegal DDoS attacks. And when the site was hosted in Ukraine, she posted the address to the servers publicly and then accused them of supporting Russia in some weird
Oh my
hopes that I would
God.
imagine would be retribution. Her entire MO is exploiting other people for her own benefit. Every time she claims people are criticizing her, it's because she's trans. She undermines the actual hate directed towards trans people on the basis of their identity. And what about her cynical use of other people's death, from James Somerton to the victims of Kiwi Farms to bringing up Tony?
To the victims of Kiwi Farms. Does Muta not know?
In the inner
Didn't he read the manifesto? Okay, so there actually is an update on this. We do know now that Near or Bu is likely dead. That's the only thing that's changed. But even though he could be dead, or she, I don't know. Near is still you can't attribute the death to Kiwi Farms. Because this person tried to extort Josh under the threat of like killing themselves and or giving Josh like a bunch of money to remove the threat or something. There was also like they had all of this drama within the emulation community. Their mental health was deteriorating, lack of progress. There were a ton of different issues that this person had that were unrelated to Kiwi Farms. They had a tiny Kiwi Farms thread with like a few pages and then tried to pin their suicide on Kiwi Farms. Additionally, like the suicide was very, very sketchy, which is why we didn't know whether or not it was real for a long time, and why it was like people were like, well, there's not really any proof that this person is dead. Obviously now we have a document, like a legal document that states that this person died. But yeah, originally there was no police statement, no obituaries, no death certificate, no news articles, whatever. And then the other two people, this person, wait, is it Terry Bear? No, Seagal is the person that like her friends post online quite often, and they hate how people try to blame her death on Kiwi Farms, because her death was very, very complicated and there was a lot of issues that were going on. Kiwi Farms was not mentioned in the suicide note, does not appear to have played a crucial role in Seagal's suicide. And yeah, like I said, the family doesn't like how people use her death for political purposes to justify removing this website. They've even said that Kiwi Farms members were very respectful of them after she died. The culmination of abuse, mental illness, and homelessness suffered throughout her life. Confirmed as much on Twitter. Her suicide note specifically referenced systematic struggles with maintaining a home and adequate mental health care, with the low income being the reason she killed herself to send a message. Yeah. And then Terry Berry, I forget what the deal was with Terry Berry. An individual wishing to remain anonymous who attended the same school as Terry Berry. I only knew her when she was a kid. She was a couple years younger than me. I rarely interacted with her, but I remember a few weird things. Sweet girl, kind of off, would act out and exhibit weird behavior for a kid. Didn't have a lot of friends, if any. Kept to herself. Troubled home. Her parents were doing drugs, were uninvolved in her life. Makes me feel sick that Keffals and other people are using her to push some weird agenda. Julie had a very hard life. She doesn't need to be used as some pawn in some weird fucking clout game. People just need to leave her alone and let the memory rest. So yeah. So this person is dead, like I said, but again, it just can't be blamed on Kiwi Farms still.
her feud with Ethan Klein.
She starts this motherfucker off with "in memory of Tony Winchester, who was the RS
Why?
Glory and Gold."
Why bring him up? What the hell?
He, first of all, I'm speechless with that one.
Yeah.
How many deaths do we have to watch her weaponize until we all get together and can agree invoking someone's name in this way is just really fucking disgusting? And finally, to top it all off, there is no transparency surrounding the GoFundMe. She seems to keep inventing new details about her swatting, and many of the criticisms thrown in her face over the years are rooted in reality. If there's anything to learn about all of this, is that Clara Sorrenti has no morals. She will completely disregard the truth for her own gain and profit. There is no scenario where you can take her at her word, because she is shameless in her attempts at manipulation. If you are someone who felt sincerely invested in Kiwi Farms being taken down, then she has failed you. The site is stronger
Tony
than
Winchester
ever, and
is the RuneScape streamer guy who, like, I think Keemstar accused him of being a pedophile, but it turns out he had the wrong person, and then this guy got like a bunch of like comments for like forever from Keemstar fans being like, you're a pedophile, you're a pedophile. But Keemstar just was sort of irresponsible and sent them to the wrong person.
they've raised over $150,000 for their own litigation fund.
I have no idea why Keffals brought it up in that
They've
video.
already seen results in getting a company to retract their libelous claims. Dropping Kiwi Farms proved to be a terrible business decision for Cloudflare,
Yep.
who stated it caused a loss of potential customers and
Because people are now worried that if they get targeted by someone like Keffals, then they can lose their business because their political fucking people can basically weaponize like journalists and the news against whoever they want.
significant adverse feedback. And now everyone knows exactly what she was trying to hide after all this time. Now, this final section of the video, I have to preface with some caveats. When I first announced I was going to be working on this video publicly, several former friends and editors reached out to offer their perspective. They expressed feelings disillusioned by her behavior and provided what appears to be pretty damning screenshots, one that I started this video off in the beginning, as you can imagine, regarding what Clara did with her money. The reason why I waited to introduce this is at the very end is because I wanted to show that you can make a strong case with what is already publicly available. I have also been very honest about the extent of my knowledge regarding this evidence. Okay, I have to be very honest here. Keffals has faked DMs in the past, even doing so on stream before posting them as if they're real.
Okay, this is kind of funny.
Keffals and her
I'm
camp
gay and eat poop
have demonstrated
from
being
fucking the quartering.
actual disinformation agents, and having to vet screenshots are actually a serious concern. This is why I say I never believe an actual message until I open up the server myself, hit refresh, and see it with my own fucking eyes. I don't just believe any screenshot thrown at me. With all that being said, this is what I was shown. The first is from a screenshot from a private group chat dated November 30th,
Yeah, this is what we saw at the very beginning of the video.
2022. Feels really bad watching the GoFundMe deplete. The rest will cover a year's rent and my psych fees if I talk to a psychologist once a week for the next 11 months. Ellen tried to comfort me by reminding me that it was an emergency fund. I kept trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things. Travel and replacing furniture and helping my friends out buying new streaming gear and clothes. If legitimate, this is an admission that the GoFundMe had greatly depleted after just 2 months. It also calls into question if she actually did buy new clothes and equipments for her friends. That isn't even remotely covered by
Yeah.
any of her stated goals. Claire seems to understand this, going on to state if anyone
Could this possibly like get sent back to the people who donated it? I feel like there would be legal protections for that. Like the GoFundMe is for a certain purpose, but once you give them money, it's theirs. And then like, I don't know.
ever finds out about how I spent the GoFundMe,
It's just kind of crazy that you can donate to someone under like the hopes that they're going to get legal justice for something that they talked about happened to them, and then they just go and use it on other stuff, and there's like no repercussions for that.
I am definitely getting canceled. And these messages were deleted, like what, 7 minutes later?
Holy shit.
If you recall, in September of 2022, Clara mentioned hiring both a private investigator and a cybersecurity firm. This conversation, dated November 12, 2023, appears to shed further insight as to why. The source first sent a tweet from YouTuber Bat Empanada, who had criticized Keffals in the past. Clara responded by sharing his full name, date of birth, and home address. When asked how
What
she
the
obtained this
fuck?
information, Clara gloated she was insane before revealing the name of another YouTuber named Second Thought. Does Kiwi
What?
Farms have this info? No, I did it myself. I never published this info.
come here.
It's just like a game for me. Clara continued, I'll have more soon.
What the
I paid
fuck?
for another information request from an Argentinian PI firm. Honestly, my dream is to retire from streaming and be a PI. Dox people professionally. The lady who wants
Yeah, with Kickstarter, I mean with GoFundMe, I feel like it's even like it's even more ambiguous, or it would be, but who
Wants to
knows?
drop Kiwi Farms, ladies and gentlemen, used the money raised under false pretenses to indulge in her fantasy of being a professional doxer. Allegedly. Given the nature of these screenshots, we have to be very careful about their legitimacy. However, I did end up reaching out to both of the YouTubers targeted to verify if the information was legitimate. And unfortunately, I did not get a single response back, as sad as it sounds. I think at the end of all this, the real harm that Keffals has done is not necessarily just to herself, but for the people that she quote-unquote wants to advocate for. Look, throughout covering this video, I've learned that the trans people that I've talked to just want to exist. And in most cases, they're just average people. And their identities are just their identities. That's it. They actually have lives outside of what their, again, trans identity usually is. And a lot of those people I talked to have all disliked Keffals. And they've all disliked him because, you know, as far as I can really tell you, this person's like the Jesse Jackson of trans people, okay? They will use this as a shield. They will constantly try to be an activist. And I feel that Keffals' behavior has made her the perfect controlled opposition for making trans people just look terribly bad. So the end of all this, ladies and gentlemen, Keffals is in fact a liar. They are evil, they are malicious, and they're at great harm to not just themselves, but the community they quote-unquote claim to represent. That said, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
Wow. Good video. Good fucking video. Wow, 570K views. I'm glad that this is getting so much attention. Definitely. Yeah. It was mostly stuff that I already knew, but it's nice to go over it for someone like Muta to make a video about it and bring the issue to more attention.
And they wanted to charge.
Awesome. Yeah, ASUS scammed us. That's what you guys want to watch, right? ASUS scammed us. All right. Thank you for coming by the stream. I'm glad that I got around to watching this. I want to stream again soon. Hopefully I can stream tomorrow night. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, thanks for coming by. Thanks for hanging out.